Hello everyone, welcome to What If Quirkless Deku Awaken Super Saiyan Powers Part 1. Before we start, please go support Silverlion 12k for writing that awesome fanfic. In a world where 80% of the world's population has evolved, where people are born with unique powers called quirks, the story will focus on Izuku Midoriya, who was considered to land in the 20% of the population. Little did the world know he has a power deep within. Chapter 1. When Izuku Midoriya turned 4, he was excited. Why? Well, when a kid turns 4, they can manifest superpowers, which so-called quirks. It's the day him and his mother had to go and see what quirk he manifested so he could become a hero he dreamt to be, whether it was his mum's or dad's or even a combination, but he never expected of what to come which will disrupt his path. Izuku. Hey mum, what kind of quirk I would get? I wish it would be as cool as Kachin's mum. Izuku spoke out to his mum in an excited tone as they walked through the hallways of the hospital. Inko, yeah, I bet it's going to be very cool, Izu. Some time has passed and they were called up by a nurse that lead them to their doctor, which ran an X-ray on Izuku. Inko, seeing that the doctor got the results in his hand, spoke out. Inko, so could you tell us what's my son's quirk is? The doctor's face showed pity for the kid and difficulty of speaking, as Inko noticed that she glanced over at Izuku. He was all smiling with those bright green eyes and his fluffy dark bush hair with green highlights on his head, with a cute face full of determination, not even knowing what's to come. I'm sorry kid, but I'm afraid you won't be developing a quirk. That shocked Izuku from head to toe, paralyzing him for a few moments with his mind running thoughts about all he dreamt about doing. Can I still become a hero was the only thought that stood out from many. How is that possible? Inko questioned while the doctor showed an X-ray of Izuku's foot pointing at the pinky toe. You see, the quirk users lose their second joint on their pinky toe, whereas Izuku here has two, so I'm sorry. Izuku snapped out of his trance and looked over his mum, who's crying, telling she was sorry, but Izuku just hugged her and stated. Izuku. Don't be sorry mum, it's not your fault. Quirkless or not, my dream still stands tall, and that mean I will need to work harder than anyone else, but you know what? Inko just replied by nodding in curiosity with tears running down her cheeks. Izuku, I do have a quirk, and that quirk is my will and determination to achieve my goals without giving up, no matter what, like a hero would do. I will become a hero like All Might. Inko just responds with a huge hug. I love you Izuku, I will support you all the way. Izuku's Pav. When we returned home, I knew that with a lack of quirk I have to make up with my intelligence and physical strength, which I have to develop, so I started planning my working regime with studying sessions and searching any close by hand-to-hand combat classes which I can take. That proved useless as they won't accept 4-year-old kids, so I had to wait till I grow up. Until then I had to figure it out on my own. I've started working out with what I could do, which were simple exercises such as push-ups, sit-ups, squats and running, which made me exhausted every time as I pushed myself to the brink of my limits until I passed out or couldn't continue. I started watching different videos on martial arts which I tried to learn that were effective on 1v1 or against larger groups. This proved to be difficult without a teacher. I had started studying my best at home, trying to reach the highest grades at all my subjects. I also started writing notes in my notebook about all the different types of quirks, finding strengths, weaknesses, and how to counter or improve them. When kids in kindergarten found out I was quirkless, they started bullying me, especially Katsuki Bakugo, which I called Kachin by his nickname which I gave him when we used to be childhood friends, and he named me Deku, which meant useless. I used to be his childhood friend, but since he got his quirk he started to change as everyone started to praise him of how amazing his quirk is, and that got to his head. As weeks gone by, my training keeps getting rougher, but I kept pushing myself and could see improvements, and so did the kids. They didn't know what I was doing, but they caught on that something happening to me, whether I was getting exhausted in class for no reason or overworking on my studies that made everyone pissed off as I was at the top of my class, but the most visible thing was I was getting more confident. My muttering and stuttering decreased dramatically, and Kachin hated that. It pissed him off. 10 years later. With weeks came months, as months became years, and now I'm approaching the end of my junior high school. Many things happened during those years which opened my eyes to see true colors of this world. I used to think the heroes were the most heroic people in the world, but I was wrong, they're just like citizens. I have managed to learn multiple hand-to-hand combat with different techniques and tactics after I turned 8, but before that I had some hand-to-hand training from videos I watched on my punching bag. I have been training with some blunt weapons and anything around me to assist me during fights where I can't use my raw power of kicks or punches. My physical strength improved dramatically, which helped me in some cases during the 10 years, and I found some books in the library which were about how to surpass your body's limits. People thought they were just some kind of fiction books for children, but I thought otherwise. I wanted to become a hero all my life, but I couldn't wait to become a hero when there were people suffering, when either heroes couldn't make it to the scene in time when I was on it, or the fights between heroes and villains, causing the drastic incidents which I had to step in and help. Or just because their shifts were over, which made me sick to stand by and watch how people just wanted to become heroes just for their selfish desires, such as wealth and fame. This made up my mind to become a vigilante. At times I'm available until I get into UA high school, where I could get my license for hero work. With vigilante work I made some allies that helped me a lot during the time. They've made up a nickname for me, Limit Breaker. I spent my whole life learning and training for UA, the one I poured every drop of my soul to reach my goal. We had the last day of our high school, which made everyone excited. Well, I definitely couldn't wait to train for the UA entrance exam and 10 months for the hero department. Listen up kids, from this point on you should be thinking about your career choices for the future. I can give this applications out, but the teacher spoke out. In a sudden motion with a flick of his wrist, the teacher throws the application paper in the air, shouting in excited tone. We all know you will be taking the hero course route, aren't you? After that simple sentence all the students start to show their lame quirks, which were irrelevant to make a note of. What are they thinking? I bet they only want to be heroes for fun or some other selfish reason. Geez. Izuku thought. Bakugo. Hey teach, don't lump me that low with these bunch of rejects. Tachin shouted out. Izuku sighs, not him, this will only lead to trouble. I will just take my attention back to my notebook of where I write all the details of every quirk I see interesting. This helps me out to avoid bad situations when I'm out on patrol running away from pro heroes which are so annoying or battling villains. Izuku thought to himself. Everyone just kept shouting at Kaken, but I didn't care. Kaken was talking about his ideals and goals, which were a load of crap, like I thought selfish hero thinks of nobody but himself. And all of a sudden. Hey Midoriya, you applied to go to UA too, right? Teacher spoke out, questioning me. I couldn't answer once everyone started laughing at me, which made me frustrated. How can a quirkless person even worse than us think he can become a hero? I'll show them. Tachin lashed out at me like a wild dog, blowing up my table, making me fall backwards, which I quickly rolled out off and stood on 2 of my feet, quickly recovering from and standing firm on the ground, which seemed like I was a mountain. Bakugo. Hey Deku, you even worse than these rejects, you're Quirkless Deku, so don't stand in my way or you regret it. I am the only one from this crap high school going to make it into UA. Kaken spat out these words, trying to make them threatening, but I've heard worse. Izuku. Hey Kaken, you done? Why you lashing out at me like that? What, are you scared that a quirkless loser like me will steal the spotlight right under you? Oh, what a shame, my condolences. I said in sarcastic tone, which made Kaken's eye twitch from anger and veins popping on his face like an explosion's. He is. Izuku. You know that showing that kind of anger could be harmful for you face and you brain nerves. Just saying. I spoke out. Die, he yelled. He threw his punch with a right cross, which I easily dodged to the side with ease, lightly pushing on his back, making him hit a wall, giving me a split-second chance to grab my stuff and sprint out the class, so I run while saying in excited tone. See you Kaken, hope you didn't got hurt too bad. The timing was perfect as the bell rang as the end of school. I was walking home the long way to give some time for my thoughts of what to do during these 10 months of training, whether practice on developing the limit breaker technique or do some more whole body training with hand-to-hand combat. That's when my body dodged something without me knowing who or what it was. I trained my body to the point that my muscle memory improved to the point that my body dodges by itself. Nice reflexes kid, but sorry I'm in a rush, All Might is chasing me down and I need someone as a disguise, and you seem pretty fit for me to take over your body, so whatever you do don't. During the sludge villain talking I was analyzing him of how he could be beaten and found out that the only solid parts of his sludge body that are visible were his eyes. As the sludge villain was about to finish his sentence, I took my bag off my shoulders and launched it with immense strength into villain's eye, making small wind pressure, accelerating the bag, which made him growl in pain. I took this chance to rush the villain and start analyzing if the sludge villain has any sort of solid insides that I could hit. When I was about to jump up in order to do an axe kick on his head, I heard a masculine voice. All Might, do not fear, for I am here. All Might, the #1 hero, had arrived. I have encountered him on my patrol at night some time ago, which made it very problematic for me as a group of pro heroes were assigned to capture me. The team was set up with All Might, Midnight, Eraserhead, Kamui Woods and Mount Lady. All Might has cocked his fist back, flexing his muscles on his arm, charging up his attack, yelling. Texas smashed. The amount of power that was behind that punch made wind pressure multiple times stronger than mine, but what do you expect from the #1 hero who has a quirk? The so-called smash smashed the sludge villain into pieces, which scattered all over the tunnel we were in. With me behind him, I tried my best to keep myself firm by staying close to the ground. As the wind pressure dispersed, All Might questioned me. All Might, hey kid, you alright? I stood up, dusting off, straightened my posture and puffed out my chest. "Yes, thank you, All Might. I don't know what I would have done without your help," I proudly said, bowing down as a thank you, while All Might scrabbled up all the pieces from the villain into a soda bottle he just found. I knew I could have taken that sludge villain down, but All Might just had to ruin my moment. "Okay, citizen, if there's nothing else, I should take my leave." I reached out my hand indicating him to stop so I could ask him a question. "I've got a question I meant to ask for so long." All Might seemed desperate to leave, but hid it, but not well from me, which made me curious. He turned around, proudly puffing his chest out, trying to hide something, as if he was fighting the urge to run away. "What is it?" "Izulu. Do you think a quirkless boy like me could possibly become a hero that could save lives and fight villains?" I asked with curiosity of what my idol is going to say, but as I expected, his answer was the same as others. Why did I ever bother to hope he could be different to acknowledge me? "I'm sorry, kid," but I interrupted him mid-sentence. "No, I get it. I will be a liability for others. There are much more professions that I could take, like being a firefighter or a police officer." "I've heard that a lot, but still, thanks and farewell, All Might. May we meet again in different circumstances." As I said that, I turned around ready to walk when I heard All Might trying to say something in return but coughed. I peeked over my shoulder, seeing blood coming out of All Might's mouth, hearing him swear under his breath. This is interesting. I was heading home alone with my thoughts. Maybe that was the drawback of his quirk, or maybe some kind of time limit, but if these are not the reasons, then he might sustain some injury that caused something to his quirk. Ow, I remember there was a fight against Toxic Chainsaw, that's when the changes showed up, but why? My thoughts were interrupted by my earpiece that I had. It helped me communicate with other vigilantes and valuable sources I made during my vigilante patrols. These were the most closest friends I ever had in a while, which accepted me. The one I truly admire is Knuckledister, as he is quirkless, same as me. "Hey kid, have you seen the news?" Knuckledister asked me through the earpiece communicator. "No, why?" "There's a sludge villain attacking the downtown with a hostage. I'm way far to reach it in time. Can you?" I interrupted him. "Don't worry, Gramps, I on my way now," I replied while launching off into the distance towards the scene. "Is that the same sludge that All Might apprehended?" "Kid, how many time I've told you not to call me by that nickname?" "Ow, sorry, the connection breaking up." Hello. "Oh no, you don't." Before he could finish, I disconnected the earpiece and was on my way. When I arrived, I've seen that the street was a mess, crumbling building caught on fire. Brings back memories, I thought. I made my way through the crowd and seen the same sludge All Might caught. How did he escape, All Might? Was it an accident, or it might be his circumstances? I thought. I looked around and seen heroes on the scene, but not doing anything to stop the villain. There was Mount Lady, Kamui Woods, Backdraft and D-Therms on the scene with some police officers. Why aren't they doing anything? That kid is going to suffocate. Wait, what catchin'? I leapt through the crowd of heroes and police officers, everyone trying to stop me, but I maneuvered them. "Hey kid, do you have a death wish?" "Kid, it's too dangerous, like I care. Heroes should place their lives for others," I thought. Sludge villain spotted me. "Hey, you're that kid I wanted to use as disguise. Well, I'll take my sweet time taking my..." Before he could say anything else, I picked up a rock from the floor next to debris. I've launched the rock at the villain's eye, produces small wind pressure which put out little flames at the street, but not enough for burning building. That backdraft taken care of. That made the sludge groan in pain again. They do not learn, do they? Hakken got a breather while I launcher my hand into the silky sludge. As I felt solid flesh of Kachin's wrist, I grabbed on and yanked it out, launching him out the sludge's body. Seeing that I threw Kakken right to the crowd that was half the street away surprised everyone, but worried myself. I might have too much power into that. "Take care of him," I yelled, informing them. I took my attention back to the villain, who seemed to recover from that throw. "You brat, this is the second time you've thrown something in my eye. You'll pay for that," Sludge screamed out with rage in his eyes. I just smiled at his response and kept smiling. I wanted to test my theory if my kick will affect his head if it gets deep enough. "Oh come on, are you going to let a kid defeat you that easily?" I teased him with a smile on my face. He growled and took a swing at me, and there was a loud smack which lifted the dust on the street. The crowd gasped at the horror of a little kid dying in front of them. Then the dust dispersed. I was behind the sludge, jumping high in the air, charging up my axe, kicking Sludge's head. "Ha, that kid was just a weakling." Sludge was interrupted by me. "Weakling? Take a look." "Why, cause I am here," I imitated All Might. The sludge looked back at me while I was inches away from hitting him. His eyes widened when I made contact on his head. My leg went in by a couple centimeters when I hit something solid, which made the sludge fall unconscious hard to the floor. The crowd was excited, praising me for a good work which I just ignored. I started to make my way for the exit when I got stopped by Kamui Woods by grabbing my left shoulder. "Kamui Woods, hey kid, you didn't have to do that, you put yourself in danger." I shook off his hand and just continued walking when D-Therms appeared in front and blocked the way. "D-Therms? Kid, there were heroes on the scene so you didn't have to do that. Do you have some sort of death wish? They are pissing me off. Izuku, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry for not letting Kaken die, I apologize for my actions. I said sarcastically. Izulu, no, I'm not sorry, you so-called heroes were just standing there watching him die when a random citizen jumped in and saved him, even if I don't like him that much, but I didn't let my emotions in the way. But now you scolding me for saving him when other heroes praising Kaken of how he stayed alive. If I didn't interfere, we would have had a dead corpse on our hands. Aren't heroes supposed to put other people's lives before their own, being selfless and do whatever it takes to save just one person, even sacrificing yourself, or is it just me being too naive of what a true hero is? Hamui Woods. Kid, we couldn't do anything against the sludge, our quirks were useless against him and not fit for the scenario, well your quirk was much more powerful than ours. Hamui Woods said out loud, which made me laugh my ass off. Hey kid, why are you laughing? Mount Lady stated. Izuku. No, it's just you see, life can't prepare you for every scenario that might occur, that's where improvisation comes in. Either of you could have thrown or punched the sludge in the eyes, which was the most visible solid part of his body. And you say I've got a powerful quirk, what a joke, never heard that one before in person. Why is that a joke for you? Mount Lady asked. It's just because I'm quirkless. This brought shock to all the heroes and the people watching when I made my exit. Did you still need to fill in a report about the incident? Deatherms commanded. I didn't bother looking back. Izuku. No, I don't, you clearly seen what happened, so did the crowd, and they would believe your single word as you are a pro hero, and do us a favor, take the credit for defeating the so-called powerful villain, cause I don't want it. I took my leave as everyone had blank faces of what I've said. When I came home I greeted my mother and then unexpectedly she jumped on me hugging. Oh Izu, did you get hurt? Are you okay? Should we go to the hospital? Inko shooting me with multiple questions while she crying. I hugged her back. No mom, I'm okay, no need to worry. My mum hesitated but then let go. Okay fine. By the way, I've got you favorite katsudon, come and eat before it gets cold. That brought a smile on my face. And by the way Izu, you got a letter from UA, I placed it on your table. Thanks mum, I headed to my room after I munched on my food. I've got an idea of what's it going to be about, too bad really. I opened up the letter. Dear Izuku Midoriya. We're sorry but you weren't accepted to the UA entrance exam for Hero Department. You may reconsider to go to General Department, which we applied for you. The time and date of the entrance exam are the same, but only the writing exam will be taking place for the General Department. I wish you luck and see you around. Principal of UA Nedzu. Well, as expected. How would they accept a quirkless student into a hero department? Well, got to train either way, there's always someone stronger out there. I spoke out loud. The training begins. Chapter 2. The next day I woke up at 5 in the morning doing my morning routine as usual, which consisted with a warm-up of full body workout to get my body ready for the day's work. I then entered my bathroom and done all of my business in there, but when I stepped out of my shower looking at my lean muscular body in a mirror, reflection showed my whole body covered in scars from neck down. The most visible scar was a burnt mark across my whole body from my left shoulder down to my lower right hip, following with cut marks on my arms and legs, with a burnt mark on my left side. Flashback when Izuku was 12 years old. It was about 8 to 9 o'clock in the evening. I picked up some groceries from the supermarket cause my mum left for work overnight, which I didn't mind. I was thinking of what to cook for myself today when those were interrupted by an explosion and screams of pain and help. That triggered my body to run to the scene. I ran to and made it when I spotted a burning building and in the background some hero which I didn't caught appearance of was fighting a group of villains. I put my fanboying aside to have full attention on the people I had to help and save, as there were no heroes or authorities around at that time. I ran past the crowd which were in fear even to move. Everyone get away from the building to a safe place, I commanded them. I threw my groceries towards the ground as they were the least of my priorities right now. All the people stared at me as I ran towards the front double doors of the building that were stuck. I heard cries for help just behind that door. Step away from the door, I screamed out as I heard footsteps. Step away from the door. I took a run up to barge the door off its hinges. I caught some people attention at the entrance. Is there anyone else in the building? I asked the people. Yeah, there were a dozen of people up above us on the higher floors, and I think there might be a villain on one of these floors, one man stated. Thanks. Now get out off here, get some help, and with that I ran up the burning crumbling stairs, shouting for any life. I reached the 5th floor while helping others on lower floors. Is there anyone here? I shouted. Please cough, help us cough, me and my baby are cough trapped here, they probably running out of air, and same with me, this thick smoke has a toll on my body, it's filling my lungs up, as if it was commanded to. Don't worry, I'm coming. I ran towards the sound of a pleading mother and a baby. I kicked down the door, analyzing my surroundings, spotting two figures, one small other big in the massive smoke which I rushed through. Thank God someone came. The woman spoke out with relief, but with slight pain. I spotted there was a huge plank on fire burning, blocking their way to escape, which was too big and too hot to lift. Don't worry, why, cause I am here. The little baby in her mother's hands was now cheerfuler in hearing those words. I took off my jacket and leaped over the plank, placing my jacket on the small area of the plank, preventing the fire from bursting up. Okay then, hang on tight, it's going to be a rough ride. I exclaimed while picking up the mother with her baby bridal style. My name is Izuku Midoriya, what about yours? I questioned while leaping over the plank with my concentrated power in my legs to assure we won't fall into the blazing flames. I'm Megan and this is my daughter Nina. Megan exclaimed. Nice to meet you. I was walking past the door when I spotted some rubble fall from the ceiling aiming straight for us. In the split second I threw Megan towards the stairs while trying to avoid using too much power in my throw. I was successful in throwing Megan and Nina out of the way, not too hard to not make them hit the walls badly. As for me, I wasn't that fast. The debris fell while one of the steaming pipes that indicated they were hot had a sharp end that made contact with my shoulder, scraping it all the way towards my right hip, causing blood to pour out and immediately burning the wound. I screamed in pain from the sudden pain, but then came to my senses. Hey Midoriya, you okay? Asked Megan in a frightened tone. Yeah, I'm fine, you go ahead, I will need to find another way out, so don't worry, I'll be fine. I stated in a confident voice to persuade the woman to leave me behind so she didn't worry about me. Okay, but make it out of here alive, you hear me? Yeah, geez, what am I doing putting false hopes? I thought while walking off down the hallway. I spotted a staircase down which I was glad to see, but then. Hey kid, are you the one saving the people of this residence? No matter, cause I want to have some fun with you as you're the only one here, the man growled animanically, giving me some chills down my spine while walking up the stairs. He wore a dark red tank top, revealing his buff muscular body with brown cargo pants and military boots. He held a strong posture, his strong jaws formed most of his face, which consisted with red eyes and red spiky hair. Who are you? I asked in a frightening voice. Well, I can tell you, cause you are about to die horribly. He spat that sentence out with venom in his voice and bloodlust in his eyes. That made me step back from fear of dying, which made my stomach twist, making me panic. I am a new recruit in the League of Villains. Well, saying that he dashed at me with his hands behind him, firing flames propelling him at faster speed. My name is Mike and I love fire because I like how people scream while they burn alive. He shot a beam of flame at me, directing it to my head, which I dodged by sidestepping, kicking Mike in his right ribs, hearing some cracks following with a groan of pain, but he caught me with his other hand at my left side, burning it. Haha, you're a feisty one, aren't you? I like you already, he screamed out with joy. I didn't waste any minutes, so I made my move with a hard right hook to Mike's face, sending him flying to the opposite wall, breaking through it. I ran up to him to ensure he was unconscious, but when I arrived he wasn't there. Hey, looking for me? He asked rhetorically. I span around, spotting him all bruised up and bleeding from his head, which seemed he was about to pass out. You know, you're the first that made me use my full power of my quirk that's deadly for me and my opponent. He exclaimed. Wait, what? I spotted his hand heating up, producing smoldering flame which melted the surroundings. I can't deal with that, it will melt me at the first contact. Wait, you're going to kill yourself too, I shouted out. I don't give a shit, kid. I glanced down the long hallway behind me, spotting a window. I can't believe I'm going through with this. I started sprinting at my full speed while Mike screamed in pain from the power his quirk producing. He shot out a blast of smoldering flames about as hot or even hotter than magma. Is he crazy? I felt my whole back warp up from the heat of the flames that were halfway towards me. What will happen when it reaches me? I screamed in my mind. The window was kept getting closer and closer. On the way there I either vaulted or leaped over some debris in my way, which didn't affect my speed, well, might a little. Throughout the sprinting I got caught by some sharp ends of the debris laying in the way, catching my legs, or spikes from the wall which cut my arms, but I didn't care. Right now I was fighting for my life. As the window came close I jumped through it. Third person, 5 minutes before the fight. Everyone was standing at the safe distance from the burning building, and Megan with Nina were safe with the others. Where's Midoriya? What if something happened and there's no one to help him? She spotted some groceries. Might be Midoriya's, he was just walking past after shopping and risked everything to save people he didn't know. She heard some people talking about Midoriya. Did you see that kid? He just ran in there as a hero, not thinking about himself to save everyone, but I don't see him from the crowd. One old guy said. Yeah, he saved me and my sons from burning alive. I hope he's okay. Some woman with 2 kids saying everyone was talking about Midoriya and wished him to come back alive. The news reporters were filming over the building from a helicopter. We all seen a kid with black and green messy hair run in the building, barging the door to save dozens people and dozens more that came after from higher floors, but we still have no sight of him. We had some information that there might be a villain inside the building with a fire quirk. We hope the heroic kid gets out of it alive," the news reporter stated. The camera caught an explosion from the far side of the building, quickly melting from immense heat and quickly falling apart. It was reaching throughout the whole building, crumbling it down. "Oh no, please." Megan gasps at the fear that the boy Midoriya that saved dozens of people is still in the building and might die for doing it. "Mommy, is he going to be okay?" Nina asked. "Yeah, he will, he's our hero after all, he must," Megan answered with cracked voice and teary eyes. "Hey, did you see that? There's someone sprinting through the halls away from the fire," the reporter shouted in amazement. The reporters saw some glimpse of some shadow through some windows running in opposite direction from the fire. Izuku's Pav. I skyrocketed out through the window, defending my face with my forearms, making an X shape and shielding my stomach with my knees, keeping them close. "Oh www shit," I shouted from extreme realization I was on the 5th floor, which could easily kill a person. Crap, my thoughts were running through my head as a bullet train at high speed, searching for a way out of this as I was out the window. With an explosion at the back from Mike propelling me further towards a random house which might help me survive. I was propelled towards a 4th story with a balcony, so I took the chance to grab on. As I made contact with the balcony metal bar, I screamed in pain from the force of that fall, ripping my muscle fibers, making me lose my grip with my left hand, holding for my dear life with my right arm with tears in my eyes from immense pain which was slipping out of my grasp. "I can't hold on anymore," I thought. "Shit," I screamed out, looking down of how high it was and anything that could soften the fall, but nothing, just the concrete. Memory. I placed a book down on the table in the library, exhausted. Human beings are able to break their limiters of their own body at a cost of losing most of their energy in their body, making it one-time use. It will improve all attributes that the person holds, but by how much depends on their willpower. This technique is very ancient, with no proof of it being real. Well, this will be troublesome, but I'm willing to try everything out. Back to the flashback. My feeling were flushing throughout my body, burning inside me, telling me not to give up. I started focusing on feeling the limiter in my body like a shackle that's holding me back. I felt my inner power which pursing through me, breaking the shackle in me, the feeling of immense power pursing through my body. I screamed out as I felt pain throughout my body with this newfound power that my body contained, and I started glowing with a grey aura around me. Is this the power they were writing about that no one believed? Well, my thoughts were interrupted by a sudden contact with the concrete floor, making a huge crater. I felt the shock go through my legs as if they were about to shudder. I walked out the crater, barely standing up. I seen everyone surrounded the crater to see me, but when they saw me they gasped at the sight of me, all bruised and bloody. I caught the sight of Megan and Nina and smiled, but then a sudden rush of pain entered my body which I couldn't hold and screamed out in pain, causing me to collapse unconscious and then only seen black and cold. End of flashback. I caught a glimpse of my back that contained muscles covered with scars that seemed to be slashed by a sword of some kind in an X shape and some little deep scars like shrapnels. Then I massaged my right shoulder where there was a scar of a healed impaled hole. Flashback when Izuku was 13. "Hey Limit Breaker, Pop, Step and Crawler, you ready?" Knuckleduster questioned his squad. "Yeah," we said in unison. "Okay, me and Limit Breaker will take the gang in the building straight on, and you guys stay out here on watch for any to escape with the drug," Knuckleduster informed us. "Yeah, we got that," Pop, Step and Crawler agreed. Me and Knuckleduster jumped through the windows at the roof, with me just dropping down on some villains from 8 precepts of death, knocking them out immediately, while Knuckleduster descended with his grappling hook. My vigilante outfit was all black, which helped me blend in the shadows and my smoke bombs. I was wearing a black hoodie that was unzipped to allow my smoke bombs on my waist quicker to grab. I had dark jeans that were flexible enough for me to do the splits, with military boots that allowed me to park around the city, a dark long sleeve shirt that was breathable with a long neck that allowed me to use it as a mask, and some goggles that hid my eyes from any flashes, helping me out to see in dark places and not showing the color of my eyes. "Nice kid, but it's not over yet. We still got a mission to do," Knuckleduster stated with intimidating tone. "Right," I agreed. We rushed through the hall searching for the laboratory, kicking ass left and right when we made it to 2 metal doors. Third person. Pop, Step and Crawler were on watch for any villains that escaped the building which they could take care of, minimum a little group of 3 to 4, but when dozens were sprinting out the building they knew they planned for this but couldn't contact Knuckleduster of Limit Breaker. Izuku Pav. As I kicked down the doors I seen that there was a person in a cloak hiding his features, holding a syringe in his hand which was empty. "You know, our boss knew you would come sooner or later, so we made a surprise for you," the man stated. He started laughing when 2 swords unsheathed from his hands, which was his quirk. "Ready to punch his face to a pulp, Knuckleduster?" I asked Knuckleduster. "With pleasure," Knuckleduster replied, hitting his fists together. We rushed him from both sides, but to no avail, because we were pushed back by some huge gust of wind from the other side of the room. "You forgot about me," the person shouted out as he rushed me with some manipulative quirk. He smacked the air towards me, sending a gust of wind which I rolled out of to the side and immediately springing back towards my opponent with a flying kick to the guts. That made him spit out some saliva mixed with blood flying backwards, but I didn't want to waste time to figure out if he was conscious or unconscious, so I done a finishing blow with a roundhouse kick to his temple in midair, sending him flying into a metal wall, cracking it. I looked towards where Knuckle Duster was and seen him on one knee, exhausted with some cuts on his body. I rushed towards Knuckle Duster when I seen the villain prepared for a finishing blow, aiming for an X-shaped mark. I pushed Knuckle Duster away, taking the hit on the back that would have killed Knuckle Duster that was aimed at his head. The surge of pain came over my back. I groaned and felt blood leaking out of the wound straight down my back to the floor, but I stood up and faced the villain, which was licking my blood on his blade. "You know this blood tastes pretty good, what blood type alright?" the man in the cloak asked. I launched at him, making my move predictable, and he took the bait when he was aiming at my head. I quickly changed my trajectory at the last second to throw him off guard by spinning out of the blade's way and made a powerful blow to his stomach with my fist, cracking some of his ribs. I looked at him and he was smiling. I felt something sticking in my shoulder, which made me look at it and seen a sword through it, with lots of gushing blood bursting out. From the amount of blood lost, I was dizzy. "I guess there's no winning against you, so I have a bigger surprise for you," he said in excited tone. He takes out a bomb out of his cloak, pressing the button. "Goodbye." In that split second I used my limit breaker technique and had a glimpse of the things around us and seen that there was lots of barrels with flammable labels. I quickly broke the sword and picked up Knuckle Duster and sprinted out of the warehouse. We were about to take the exit out of this building when we heard a loud explosion. It broke the silence. In that moment I had a split-second decision and threw Knuckle Duster with all my might on the roof from which we jumped. I followed with a jump when the explosion hit my back, blasting me up, while small shrapnels hit me. I yelled in pain and my limit breaker ran out. I collapsed on the roof trying to crawl to safety when I was picked up by Knuckle Duster and he jumped to where Pop Step and Crawler was. "Don't worry kid, we're going to patch you up." Knuckle Duster expressed his gratitude for saving him by patching him up at their warehouse. End of flashback. Geez, so much happened during 2 years I've been a vigilante, not talking about the pro heroes trying to apprehend me. I'm famous now. Flashback months before. I was fighting a group of low thugs that used the drug trigger, which enhances your quirk but makes your judgment unreasonable. I defeated and apprehended them, but not fast enough as the entire block of this street was a ruin. I'm sorry, but it seems I wasn't fast enough to defeat this villains in order to escape this chaos. I told to the crowd of citizens that was staring at me. "Have no fear, for we am here," someone spoke out of the crowd, sounded like. "No, you've got to be kidding me," I screamed in my mind and hesitantly looked back. I seen a group of heroes that consisted of All Might, Midnight, Eraserhead, Kamui Woods and Mount Lady. Hey G guys, how you been ha? Well, I defeated this T-thugs, so I be better go, bye. I stuttered from nervousness and seeing this great heroes in front of me. I was about to walk off when. "Hey wait, limit breaker, you under arrest for breaking the laws of vigilantism. Just come with us and nobody will get hurt," All Might said in his proud, fearful tone, which made me shiver in my boots. It's a perfect team of 5 which have a perfect combination. I have no chance against them, but if I pick them out one by one, maybe, just maybe, I will be able to escape. Midnight has a sleeping gas quirk which is my highest priority. Eraserhead has a nullification quirk which has nothing to do with me, but his fighting style with the ability of using his capture weapon could be hard to avoid, but with the help of smoke bombs. Same goes for Kamui Woods, which will try to capture with his ability, same as Eraserhead with the capture weapon. Mount Lady will turn her quirk on immediately to avoid getting knocked out first. I can think about her on the spot. And lastly, All Might, I don't know anything about his quirk, so he will be a huge problem. I've got to avoid him at all costs. In terms of power, I'm nowhere near him. Nah, I like being free. I told the men. In that split moment I threw a smoke bomb at them, immediately exploding on contact. I dashed towards Midnight and punching her in the stomach, making her fall to her knees. "I'm sorry Midnight for being rough on you," I said in a seductive voice with which she passed out. I turned towards Eraserhead and Kamui Woods and seen that the smoke was vanishing, so I threw another, and All Might caught a glimpse of where I was standing, so he vanished and appeared in front of me. That was quick, I thought. I quickly slip under All Might, losing him in the smoke and running towards Eraserhead and Kamui Woods. I quickly launched kicks at both of them in their temples, making them lose conscience as I quickly sprinted off in the distance without being spotted. Well, that's what I thought. My path was now blocked by a giant foot. "He's over here," Mount Lady informed their squad, which now consisted of All Might and herself. Mount Lady, would you please remove your beautiful lean foot from my path? I don't want to see your charming face fall sad if I do." I again tried to seduce her, which made her blush, giving me a split second to turn towards a dark alley and vanish from their sight. When the smoke cleared, I was God. God damn it, limit breaker, Mount Lady shouted out in frustration. I made my way to my room through the window and took off my outfit. Jeez. I can't believe I just escaped a group of 5 pro heroes including All Might without a scratch on me, just like. Wow. End of flashback. Well, I guess there's no victory without sacrifice, that's what my scars are telling me. Time to train my butt off this 10 months. Chapter 3. It's been 5 months since the start of my workout. I chose to work out at the Dagaba Municipal Beach as there was lots of trash needed to be cleaned, which was effective to making me use my whole body. After the beach I went running till I collapsed and did multiple body weight exercises with weights at home and shadow sparring in the woods till my muscles screamed in pain. Every time I work out I pushed myself past my limits. I didn't forget to study for the entrance exam. On the side note, I found interesting books about legendary martial artists that were unreasonably strong, and that was before any quirk existed. The technique they used was called Kai. This Kai is some sort of spiritual energy of some sort that all depended on how the person uses their emotions and how strong is their spirit energy. I was walking home after my daily workout. It was the 6th month and I had a feeling of something wrong is going to happen. I made it to my apartment and to my shock the door was wide open. Mum, I shouted while rushing and searching the whole house for any presents when a purple-black mist appeared. Well, isn't it good to see you again, Izuku? A man spoke out while walking out of the mist wearing a lab coat. Who are you? Where's my mum? I demanded an answer. Well, aren't you the impatient one? We've got her, if you. Those last words hit me hard, so I cut him off by launching myself at him, punching him straight in the face, hearing some cracks that made him fly through the mist, which I followed and prepared for battle. I appeared in some sort of bar. Looking around, there were figures, one made out of mist wearing a bartender suit, while there was a man covered in severed hands covering his face. The other I saw was laying on the floor out cold. The last one was huge figure wearing a black suit with a mask. Where is she? Where's my mum? I yelled, going into a fighting stance, standing firm but relaxed. Well, aren't you extraordinary? You will be very helpful for our League of Villains. Your father Hisashi here told us you are quirkless, this way we can succeed in this experiment. Ow, where's my manners? My name is All For One. All For One spoke out. Father. I don't care about this shit. Where's mum? All For One. I was showing lots of anger in my tone with a little bloodlust. For now, Inko will be held captive until you become a villain to pay my department and succeed in their experiment. Hisashi said while struggling to stand with a broken jaw. I suddenly started dodging shots of projectiles that were shot at me from the back. Ha! I looked back and saw 2 figures in the shadow. I rushed at them, dodging the projectiles. Before they knew it, I was right in their faces, preparing to launch an attack. I saw one guy with purple scars on his face and a schoolgirl around my age wearing a school uniform. Buck this. The guy said before blue flames erupted from his palms. I dodged in the last possible second, getting caught at my shoulder. In an instant my instinct took over and I hit the guy in the stomach full force, making him crash through the wall. I quickly dodged the knives from the girl and kicked her side, sending her in the opposite wall. Where's my mum? I screamed when I rushed at All For One, which seemed surprised for some reason. You think you can take me? I was ready for him to punch so I could counter, but he vanished in thin air. Over here. All For One said. Before I could turn around I felt immense pain on my shoulder before I felt darkness overtake me. I took a glimpse to the side where I smashed a scarred person through the wall and saw a person tied to a chair. Mum? Mum, I shot out of the dark as I activated the technique and vanished, appearing in front of my mum. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I'm getting you out of here. I told her while ripping the straps off of her. I grabbed her hand and prepared to run when I was stopped by her. Mum? Izuku, I'm happy here. Why wouldn't you join us? We can live like a happy family doing evil deeds for fun. She spoke out in a crazy tone. Snap out of it, Mum, we getting out of here. Before I could grab her bridal style I felt a sting in my side. You will feel better soon, Izu, when you will become stronger and defeat All Might for us. Inko spoke out. Mum. Before I could get an answer I fell unconscious. I shot my eyes open, revealing a blurry dark room with one light above me. My eyes adjusted and seen that there were lots of equipment for torture, some were serums with unknown purposes. I heard footsteps coming towards a metal door and I tried to break free, but I felt weaker, as if I was drugged by some weakening drug while I was strapped to a table. When the door creaked open I saw my mum, Hisashi, and All For One. Ah, you're awake. Time to proceed. All For One spoke out. Don't worry, Izu, if you don't struggle it won't hurt. Inko added. What did you do to my mother, you scum? I shouted. We made her a villain, replacing her mind more fit for a villain. Hisashi replied. How could you monster? I will take you all down, I shouted menacingly. Don't worry, Izuku, you will meet with your mother soon, so please don't struggle. All for one said while placing his hand on my head. Once it made contact I felt darkness fill my mind. No, I won't let them take away my mother, I was screaming in pain. Why are you fighting back? You can get multiple quirks, enough to beat All Might, aren't you happy? All for one asked. Not like this, I shouted in between growls of pain. It continued for days, but the day came when they fed up. Fine, if you don't care about physical pain then we have to make it mentally painful. Inko, come here, All for one ordered. So Izuku, what do you think happens to a human body when their blood gets manipulated? I always wondered. All for one asked me. Please don't hurt my mother, hurt me instead. I spoke out in a weak tone. Oh, I will hurt you. But not in the way you think, so let me give you an experience of a pain beyond what you felt. All for one said. My mum's body started to turn red while she screaming in agony. No, please leave her out of th. Before I finished her body exploded all over the room and me. No, I screamed in pain as the thing I loved the most just died in front of me because I was weak. I felt hot tears dripping down my face mixing with the blood and hitting the floor where all the blood was spilled. I blinked many times and saw red. I felt a surge of power. All for one walks up to me and placed his hand on my head, but I refused to give up to avenge my mother. You're really getting on my nerves. Oh, why no, I will use this new quirk I gained, which is one-time use, which will help a lot. Before I could use the surge of power he placed his hand on my head again and I fell unconscious. Where am I? I asked, floating in complete darkness. I screamed in pain as I got a massive migraine. My head was filled with fogginess, no wait, memories. I was standing in the middle of the street that was crumpling down. Where am I? I thought as for some reason I couldn't move or speak. If only I was stronger, my body shouted without me making it. I see my body walk though, a pile of corpses of teenagers, pro-heroes, authorities and civilians. In front was All for one breathing heavily and dropping dead, but he was skinnier. Izu. A girl called out with black hair and a spiky ponytail. My body ran up to her, raising her up and hugging her while sobbing. I'm so sorry, I'm sorry, I wasn't strong enough, now everyone is dead. My body was trembling with tears and broken voice, but I seemed much older, maybe 18, 19. My mind was breaking as I was starting remembering stuff while still sobbing as my mum died not long ago. It's not your fault, don't blame yourself for th. No, Momo, please don't leave me. No, I was screaming in pain as all the memories flood in and noticed I lost my family again. Memories. I was trained by All Might and received his quirk, went to UA and made friends with class 1 and all the teachers at UA. Me and Momo Yaoi Rozu got close and started dating. USJ attack, sports festival, internships, camp, 3rd year of UA, mastered one for all, and everything went to shit when All for one appeared, but it was Tamura Shigaraki leading dozens of Naumas to battle. Present. I looked around and saw all my classmates dead in cold blood with some pro-heroes. I walk around seeing blood everywhere. Why them, why couldn't I be stronger? I fell to the floor punching it with my fist. A big flash happened and I was standing in the streets walking towards my classmates, but they looked at me in fear. Oh, not so hard as your symbol of peace is gone. Hey Kaken, I thought you wanted to be number 1, so I should kill you first. And with that I appeared in front of Bakugo and punched him through his chest, ripping him apart. So how does it feel being weak, useless Deku? With it I made him vanish. Everyone was too afraid to move. I looked at them with a crazy look. You see what people made me like this Kaken, who was the main reason I turned away from being hero, and your so-called symbol of peace broke my dreams too. So who's next? Nah, just going to kill you all. As I said that I killed them in cold blood in under 1 minute. Why did I do that? My mind was breaking with hatred for myself as I was the one who killed my classmates. Memories. I jumped off a school roof as Kaken told me to. I was teleported in a bar. Izuku Midoriya, would you like to be useful for our League of Villain? No, I would never. Yes, I will. I waited for this. My body was put through lots of experiments and gained a powerful quirk. That led me killing everyone. How could I got bullied too, so why wait, is this some sort of alternative realities of me? But they feel so real, like I was there myself. Why do I feel so cold and alone, like there's only me in every reality? Is this what I get in pursuing my dreams? A bright light was exposed again and the scenery changed. I was standing in front of my mum's grave. Mum, I made it to UA, but people still think I'm a villain. I'm trying my best to show them, but it seems like they don't want me there. But there's only one person who believes in me except from the teachers, Momo Yaoi Rozu, which seemed to keep believing in me, and we grew close to each other. I spoke out while sobbing. It's her again, in this reality I'm with her too. Why do people think I'm a villain? Memories. Some bullies were bullying me, and I suddenly developed a quirk and activated, making a disastrous earthquake, killing thousands including my mother. I was trained by All Might and received his quirk. Got into UA, but all the students either avoided me or bullied me. Why is the villain here? Are you going to kill us too? You made my parents lose their jobs. You're useless shit as always, Deku, why won't you kill yourself? Only the pro heroes and Momo saw what others didn't see, a true hero. All other heroes in training were too hang up on me to do hero job, they rather try to kill me and make rumors. When I saved lives, people only see a villain, even the authorities which tried to kill me too multiple of times. Present. Why you here? You've already done enough, go and do everyone a favor and kill yourself. I feel like I'm dying slowly alone without anyone, but why does Momo appear in my mind? A bright light has occurred. Many thousand realities flooded in my brain, breaking me piece by piece, showing how people died because of me, my family, classmates, pro heroes. All Might was like a father to me, but he died protecting me. I didn't know how much time has passed, but it felt like an eternity. I was screaming in thin air with pain while feeling power building up in me as I get a gold aura around me and lighting, with my hair turning gold and flowing up, spiking. You are going down. I looked around and see my classmates with All Might in defeated state. I looked at the figures in front of me and saw multiple Naumus with All for One and some other guy with a plague doctor mask on his face, and beside him dozens of thugs with weapons. You think you can take an army of Naumus, me, Overhaul and his minions all on your own? Not even All Might could. All for One spoke. Memories. I flew in a spaceship towards Earth. I was taken in by my Muminko. From a very young age I started working out as it was addicting for me, and I had information on my race, fighting styles, my real parents, as if it was planted in my mind. I was stronger than all average people on Earth from a very young age, and I kept on training as I knew there's always someone stronger than you. I got in UA being quirkless, made friends with my classmates again, but I'm with Momo again. Is this some sort of destiny or something? Same thing happened, but during the USJ attack I unlocked Super Saiyan when all of my classmates were about to die. I took the Namu out with a fierce battle. I trained more trying to go beyond, but there was no time as a battle for the world has began against All for One and his Naumus and Overall with his minions with his drug to cancel out quirks. Present. It doesn't matter if I fight you all head on, I will be toast, but I'm planning on something different. I said while looking back at my friends, beaten up pros and All Might. It was a long road, guys. I loved that I could call you guys my friend. Momo, I love you, so don't give up on your dreams. The same goes for you all Might, look after them. I said. Young Midoriya, why are you saying this as if no, don't we all need you here? We can think of something different. All Might said with weakness in his voice and tears threatening to leave his eyes. Please Izu, don't I need you? I can't live without you, Momo shouted. I'm sorry Momo, but I have to do this to save the world. Take care of our baby. I would have loved to see him one last time. I said while tears running down my face. You still can, Momo shouted. Goodbye love, goodbye friends, I'm sorry, but I'm not coming back from this one. I smiled at them while placing 2 fingers on my forehead. I teleported in the middle of the crown of villains. So I guess it's a goodbye. I said with a smile on my face. What you? I started screaming, letting all of my energy out, making myself self-destruct. Everyone seen a ball of massive light building up in that area. No Izuku, Momo shouted while trying to run towards me. Momo, I don't like it more than you do, but it's his own decision, let him, it might be the only one left. All Might said while stopping Momo from running. Everyone was shouting, crying for me to come back. My screams were getting louder, while the ball of light went brighter and larger. It was covered with electricity and heat, which made wind pressure hit everyone down to the ground. I love you guys, I said while I let out my final scream, blowing all the villains up, leaving a massive crater in the middle of the city, electrifying the area which was cleared out when the battle started. Everyone saw a pale figure in the middle of the crater that looked like me. Izu. Momo shouted out while sobbing in pain. My body turned to ashes, it dissolved. Everyone screamed in loss of a good fellow hero, even Bakugo shared some tears with Shoto. He was a true hero that lived to protect other even if he was from outer space. Goodbye Izuku. All Might said. A bright light flashed before my eyes. Why does this always happen? I hurt others by being selfless, but protecting them at the same time. It's either me dying or them dying. I always lose everything I love. I'm tired of this, my mind can't apprehend anything now, I'm done. I opened my eyes to see All Might standing in a room with a pro hero behind him as I was being unstrapped from the table by All Might. Kid, you're okay now cause I am here. All Might said. I looked around and realized it was reality. I was in the same room as my mother was killed in. Through all the thing I went through, I don't know how to speak with you. I said with expressionless tone and face. What do you mean, kid? All Might said. I know you by many names. Like what? Yagi Toshinori, father, master, villain. Like I told you, I went through a lot. By the way, All for One is not dead, he's alive and well. I said, shocking both pro heroes. How did you? I cut him off by walking past him towards an exit. I really want to see the sky right now. I said as I walked out the door, walking through the halls towards an exit which I was dragged through many times or walked like I owned it in my alternative realities. All Might, how did he know your name and the things he called you, father? What happened to him? And I know you don't have a son. Midnight said. No, I don't, and I am as confused as you are. We need to take care of him. All Might said, and Midnight nodded. I opened the doors, seeing lots of police cars, but I didn't care as it was nighttime where all the beautiful stars come out. I looked up and saw multiple stars with a giant moon in the middle. How beautiful, it feels so weird looking at it. I was a Saiyan from different reality which would transform into a Zeru. I said out loud. Freeze or we will shoot, one of the police officers shouted. It's alright, he was a hostage, we going to take you to the hospital. Is there any relative you have we can call? All Might asked. No, my mother was murdered in cold blood in front of me, I'm all alone. I said. Midnight was shocked as my mother was killed in front of me and been captured by the villains to be tortured. What did this kid go through? He's all alone now. Was the only things that run through All Might's and Midnight's heads. Why did he call me all these things, and especially father? All Might was confused while looking at Izuku. At the hospital. All Might, detective, we examined the boy and his whole body is scarred from neck down, multiple cracks in his bone, but they will heal. He looks like he has a head trauma that we never seen before, as if he lived and died multiple times. The doctor stated while opening the door to Izuku. They said thanks and entered. I was standing next to a window looking out at the dark sky and the city with flashy lights passing by like bugs. Isn't it beautiful? The lights that shine in the darkness just like heroes giving people hope, isn't that right, All Might? I said. So what's the questions, Detective Tsukauchi? And All Might, you can go to your original form, I wouldn't mind. I said, shocking them both as I knew the name of the detective and original form of All Might. Okay, so tell us how you know this stuff and who has kidnapped you. Well, I wasn't kidnapped, I came home as usual when I noticed the door was wide opened, so I searched for Mum, and in the end, there was a purple-black mist from which a figure stepped out, which was my father, Hisashi Midoriya. He said that they had her, and that was the only thing I had to hear before I punched him through the mist, jumping in with him and realized I was in a bar. There was All for One, Tamura Shigaraki, Kurogiri, Dabi and Himiko Toga. Those alternative realities made me know most of the villains. They called themselves League of Villains, and they wanted me to join for an experiment, but I refused, started fighting, breaking multiple walls, knocking two of the villains out, but then when I took on All for One, I was easily outmatched in power. Before I blacked out, I caught a glimpse of my mother, which gave me a boost of power, so I tried to save her. Turns out, they turned her into a villain, and she knocked me out with a syringe. Then for days they tortured me, mostly All for One, so I would break and accept some quirks, which would be enough to go toe-to-toe with you, All Might, but they didn't know about your time limit. After days they became fed up as they couldn't break me, so then All for One killed my mother in front of me by using some blood manipulation to explode her body all over me, and he tried again. I was too stubborn, so he used his new quirk he gained, which was one-time use, and I blacked out for some time, and now we here. I said. That's a lot to take in, but could you tell us why you called All Might all these names like Master and Father a villain, and how do you know his original form with the time limit? Tsukauchi asked. He was telling the truth, but when it came to the blackout part there was something he wasn't telling. Tsukauchi though. I know what you're thinking, detective, but I would rather not talk about what happened while I was unconscious. That had scarred me and showed me things I shouldn't have seen. As for how I know these things, it was during my blackout. I said, and it seemed that detective knew it was the truth, as I knew he had a quirk that can tell a lie. Very well, All Might, is there anything you want to add? I just wanted to ask if you would like to be a hero at UA. I don't think they will accept me as they declined my application because I was quirkless. What if I recommend you? I would appreciate that. And with that I had 1 month to get into shape as I was missing for 3 months. Chapter 4. The next day after the questioning, Principal Nedzu called for All Might and Midnight to his office. I'm glad you both came, we should discuss which of you will be Izuku Midoriya's temporary guardian for a month until the dorms of UA will be ready. I chose you two as he met you both before, so Nedzu spoke out. I don't mind taking care of him, Principal. Midnight replied quicker than he thought. Nedzu clapped his hands together happily. Okay, so it's settled. Midnight, you can pick him up from the hospital, you might also let him pick something from his home. Good luck. Nedzu said with a happy tone. Izuku's pav. I was picked up from the hospital by Midnight, which was awkward as I encountered her on my vigilante patrol, and she informed me about living with her for a month until the dorms open up, which was even more awkward. Me and Midnight were at my old house picking stuff for me to move out. I'll be waiting outside the door. Midnight said. I just nodded and walked into my room, which was all dusty, just a plain old room. It was a long time since I removed everything involved with heroes. I picked my bag, which had my notebooks with some books for UA. Got some clothes, underwear, and took my punching bag with me. I was looking around, remembering the times I've spent here with my mum, how we played rescue missions when I was a child. I then walked out the front door, meeting up with Midnight with my teary eyes and taking my last look at my house before getting my stuff into Midnight car. Is everything okay, Midoriya? Yeah, I'm fine, just a little lost in thought. Midnight opened the door to her apartment, which was much bigger than I expected. Come and feel yourself at home. Midnight said with a smile, trying to cheer me up. Right, thank you Midnight for taking care of me. I doubt any other hero would have taken me in. I said with a cheery smile which hid my true emotions that made Midnight flustered. No need, and please call me Namuri, you hungry Midoriya. She said. I don't mind getting some food in me Namuri, and please call me Izuku. I replied, heading in and placing my belongings in a room that Midnight indicated was mine. We ate and it was pretty late, so we went to sleep. I went to sleep in my tank top and sweatpants. Good night Izuku. Good night Namuri. And so darkness overtook me. Dream. I was walking through a dark streets which was covered with crimson red liquid which stick to my bare feet. I looked at my hands and saw the same liquid on my hands. No, not this again please. I looked around to see corpses of my classmates, and there he stood with his minions. All for one, not so fast Midoriya, can't you see? He says while I spotted a figure in his grasp with spiky black hair and a pointy tail. Please don't do it. The only thing I saw next was blood pouring from her stomach and I couldn't do anything. Everything changes when I was with Momo hugging. I pulled away from our hug when I felt something wet. I saw she was tearing up with a hole in her stomach. No Momo, hold on, I get you help. Izuku, why didn't you save me like you told me? Her eyes closed. I woke up from a sudden nightmare, breathing heavily, sweating all over. I will make him pay for hurting my family and friends. I said with an angry face which would scare people. I put on some training clothes and run out of the apartment. While running down the steps I caught a glimpse of the Dagaba Municipal Beach I cleaned, so I went there. I was gasping for air at the beach as I was basically sprinting for 10 kilometers straight. I was breathing heavily while sweat dripped down my face and was absorbed by my hoodie, which showed outlines of my muscles on my back through the gray hoodie. Okay, time to train. I focused on my spirit energy and pushing it out throughout my whole body, making a wide aura around me, feeling the sensation of warmth and energy around me. I looked at it. It's basically the same like Limit Breaker, but weaker. Maybe I can power up. I started pushing out more energy which caused me to growl. The ground around me about 20 meters was shaking and lifting the sand in the air, levitating it. I felt a huge power flood in which surprised me at first. I need more power, I shouted while using the Limit Breaker at the same time as my Kai. I felt a huge power up which created wind around me, making sand flow in a hurricane motion. It reached as far as the entry of the beach. My body remembers how to power up. The beam. My thoughts were cut short when my feet went into position, right foot behind, left in front and hands in position like I'm carrying an invisible ball which were cocked back. There was a small burst of energy in my hands which created light like a lamp, slowly getting bigger in my hands, while concentrating on not letting go of that form. The energy was shooting out light through the finger gaps, making range of lights. My hands were trembling from the power the ball was producing, burning my hands a little. The energy was now a solid ball of plasma energy that filled both of my hands. I pushed out my hands in front of me towards the sea, letting out a massive beam of compressed energy which shined bright like the sun, lighting the beach up. The beam was shot through the waves which evaporated in an instant as they made contact, reaching out by miles. I stood there in the same position, breathing heavily, collapsing to me knees, realizing the Limit Breaker and my Kai. That was not enough of power, I shouted, punching the sand with my right fist. I've got to train harder to save everyone. I said while standing to my both feet which were shaking. I pushed the energy under my feet, making me float in the air meters above the ground, levitating. So that's something else I can do with this Kai. Have to find out everything I can do. My body remembers what to do, but most of my time in different realities I forgot. Only the feelings and all the people that got hurt because of me, the people I cared about, are printed into my brain. No time for that. I was fighting my thoughts while flying through the city night, looking at the little lights underneath me. I took a last glance and flew home. Morning. I cleaned myself up in the morning at 5, went out to train and came back at 8. I was now cooking breakfast that I never knew I could cook. I made some pancakes with eggs and bacon. What's that smell? I heard Midnight. Oh, good morning, time for breakfast. I responded in excited tone and a bright smile which warmed Midnight's heart. You didn't have to make breakfast for me, I'm the one who has to look after you, but thanks. She said, admiring my actions and walking to the bathroom to clean up. I set up the plates with food on the table and ate mine. I was walking to my room to train some more. I wrapped my hands with boxing tape and started punching the bag with full force. I was left with this bag and my thoughts for the past 30 minutes. It's all your fault, they're dead because you're weak, helpless, pathetic, Quirkless Deku. You can't even save yourself. How do you expect to save your loved ones who needed you the most? Momo needed you and you left her. No matter what reality you're from, everyone either dies in your hands or you make them hurt. I screamed at the punching bag, hitting it so hard it fell off its hinges and flew into a wall. I stood there breathing heavily with sweat all over me. I saw Midnight run in looking frightened. Izuku, did something happen? She asked in fear. I nervously chuckled saying. No, I was just training. She looked at me nervously. Okay then, but be careful when you train. It's been a month since Midnight took me in as a guardian, we became close, having a parent-child relationship. I met multiple pro heroes throughout the month because Midnight either met up with them while we went out or they went round her house. I mastered my Kai and made up multiple moves to defeat an enemy. I stopped some low-level thugs during the nights, making my appearance as the Limit Breaker. Everyone thought Limit Breaker was dead or left cause it's been 4 months now. The crime level started to rise after my departure, but now I've got a lot of work on my hands. Hey Izuku, you got everything? Midnight asked. Yeah, I've got everything for my first day. I smiled. I was walking towards UA, my stuff was already transported to my dorm room. I stopped at the gates admiring it, but mostly thinking about the first step towards my goal to protect my loved ones. I was walking through the hall searching for class 1 and found it. Is this just me or this door is big, real big? I said to myself sarcastically. I slid the door open, stepping in, which shocked me. I looked around and saw my class, which consisted of my friends from different reality which died because of me. I looked at the place where would Momo sit and she was there, which shocked my heart. My heart was pounding, begging for me to go to her and hug her and cry out my problems as if it would fix them, but my body didn't move an inch. Momo caught me looking at her and looked straight at me, which made everything worse. Those eyes I fell in love with. I had tears threatening leave my eyes and she spotted that, which confused her and made her worried. This is going to be hard to get used to. I thought to myself while walking to my seat. Hey Deku, how did you get in here, you useless buck? Bakugo spat out. Well, if you didn't see, I walked through the door, Bakugo. I said while everyone fell silent, as I was the one who could silence Bakugo, not even Iida could. As I sat down, Iida walked up to me. Hello, my name is Iida Tenya from Somiat School. Iida said while pulling his hand out as I shook it with a firm grip. Hey Tenya, my name's Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you personally. I said while whispering the last part. What was that? Nothing, don't worry about it. I chuckled while getting interrupted. If you're here to be buddy then leave it all. Took you 8 seconds to fall silent, we should work on that. My name is Shota Azawa, your homeroom teacher for these 3 years. Now put these on and head outside. Azawa said in his tired tone. We all went to our changing rooms to change. I started changing and felt everyone stop when they heard growls from an ash blonde-haired boy which was approaching me. Deku, how did you bucking get in, you quirkless useless shit? I bet you ask your mother to. I cut Bakugo off by grasping him by his collar and smashing him into a wall, making him lose air from his lungs. I looked him straight into his eyes with intent to kill. You better not talk about my mother or you won't live long enough to be a hero, you hear me? I shouted at him, having venom in my tone, shocking him and everyone. I released him and went back to my corner changing. Everyone gasped when they saw my scars, which I quickly covered by the P-kit. Aren't you supposed to change, or am I that beautiful to take your eyes off me? I said with a sarcastic voice, but commanding for them to stop looking. I was at the field with Azawa when we spotted the whole class coming over. The boys looked at me frozen. Wow, what happened to you boys? Mina asked with her excited tone. Nothing, Jay, just boys' stuff. Mineta said in fear. All the girls were now curious of why most of the boys were in fear except Todoroki and Bakugo, which was now furious. Okay class, today we will be holding a quirk assessment test. Azawa said, getting attention. But shouldn't we have an orientation ceremony? Achako asked. We don't have the time for pointless ceremonies, we teachers are given free rights to do lessons as we see fit. Bakugo, you scored the highest in the entrance exam, take this ball and throw it with your quirk as a demonstration. Azawa said, throwing a ball towards Bakugo. Bakugo catches the ball and went into his circle preparing to throw. He cocked his arm back and threw the ball, shouting die 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 die. Why would he say such a thing? Does he even know what it means? I thought. I was getting more angry at Bakugo, and the boys seen it and stepped away. This looks fun, Mina says, and some agreed. Fun? Well, last place will be expelled. Azawa said bluntly with a grin. That's not fair. Achako said. You think villains and natural disasters are fair? We're here to mold you into future heroes, not to make it fun or fair. These 3 years will be tough for you. Welcome to the hero course. He finished the sentence and we made our way towards the first exercise, which was 50-meter dash. I was doing the exercises using only my Kai, but not too much of its power. I was placing first at everything. We had our last test, which was a ball throw. Achako got an infinity, which surprised everyone. It was my turn and started to walk towards the circle. I concentrated on the ball, making it levitate upwards while getting into a Kamehameha stance, concentrating on making the beam produce only physical damage without the heat. Kamehameha, the first shouted out while aiming at the ball, creating a massive gust of wind, pushing the ball out of the Earth's gravitational pull. Azawa was shocked as everyone. I tried to erase his quirk at that time, but nothing happened. What kind of quirk does he have? Aizawa thought. He's got an infinite. Aizawa said, surprising everyone but making Bakugo rage. Everyone was in shock while I was walking back when suddenly I felt killer intent from Bakugo. You little shit, how did you do that, you a quirkless nobody? He was shouting while running at me with sparks on his palms. I will show you what pain really is now. Die. When he said that, something ticked. I lashed out at him, grabbing him by his throat and lifting him up, throwing him into the ground, making his lungs lose all the air inside. You think you know what pain really is? And don't you use the word die in front of me when you don't even know what it means, I said, letting go of him and stepping away, shocking everyone and making Aizawa curious. I just walked past him towards my lonely spot. And what do you know? Bakugo said while breathing hard. I stopped in my tracks and said, physical pain is not everything. With that I left and made my way, escaping gazes. I've got to look into Midoriya's files. Aizawa thought. Okay, here's the results. Aizawa said while pulling up the results. I looked at the last spot and saw Minoru Mineta. Ow, and nobody is going home today, it was just a ruse to show your full power. Aizawa said, shocking most of the students but not me and Momo. I can't believe you guys didn't figure that out. I should have said something. Momo said while I looked at her with a throbbing in my heart. Okay, classes for today are finished, go get changed and take a syllabus from your class. He said, and we all went to change. I was changing in the changing rooms, and when I took off my shirt everyone fell silent. I looked around and saw everyone looking at me with sad or horror looks except Bakugo and Todoroki. Midoriya, I know it's not my place to pry, but what happened to you? Kirishima said. A lot of things happened to me. It will take a day to explain, but there's no point. I replied. I changed and went to pick up the syllabus and back to the dorms. I changed into my training clothes and went to the common area to get a snack before the training. I took a banana and ate it while all the others started popping into the common area. Does anyone know how to cook, cause I can't even crack an egg? Kaminari said. Most of the girls nodded and went to the kitchen to see me standing there in a training clothes eating a banana. Oh Midoriya, nice to see you, are you hungry cause we about to cook? Achako asked. No, I'm fine, I was about to leave. I finished my banana and threw it away while walking past them. Hey Midoriya, where are you heading? Kirishima asked. I going to train, maybe do something after, not sure. I said while stopping to look at Kirishima, which seemed to admire my choice. That's so manly bro, train hard. He said while tightening his fist. Yeah, work hard or go home, right? I said while leaving and waving a goodbye. I warmed up my body and started training, lifting heavy weights. I was sweating from exhaustion but chose to keep going when I went up to a punching bag and started doing combo of punches. They died because of me, got to protect them, got to push further, work harder. I'm quirkless, pathetic, weak, they are not going to die again, I won't let them, I'll become stronger. I keep getting myself angrier to punch harder and faster. I was making sweat all over my body, so I took off my hoodie and was now in a tank top. I continued pounding on the punching bag, making it launch forward and spring back just to receive another hit. I punched the bag one last time, making the hinges snap off and launching the bag across the room into a wall, landing on the floor while it split and released sand. Damn it, you're pathetic, couldn't even defeat the punching bag, I screamed in frustration. I cleaned up, got my hoodie, swung it over my shoulder and started walking back to the common area. I got to the common area and saw most of the people seating in it talking to each other happy. I've got to do everything to save those who I love. I walked past them, greeting them. I was at the kitchen making some food with balanced diet but mostly protein. I started eating my food while looking at my classmates which were happy, and suddenly someone tapped my shoulder. Hello, Midoriya, right? I just wanted to ask you, why were you staring at me at the beginning of the class, and I don't mean a perverted way, more like a long-time lover. Momo asked, which shocked me as I didn't know how to answer it. My heart was throbbing in my chest as if it was about to burst out from it. Well, don't worry about it, I get emotional when I see new people. I said, lying. You know I can see right through your lie. Oh crap, gotta think fast. Haha, really, I get that a lot, well better get going. I said nervously while finishing my food quickly and going to the sink to wash it. I then started walking away, escaping her gaze when she stopped me. I can see something is wrong, why wouldn't you tell me? Your eyes look lonely and hurt. She said loud enough so everyone could hear, which made them concerned while she grabbed my forearm, feeling the scars she didn't notice before. Midoriya, how did this happen? She asked with teary eyes. It's nothing, forget about it. I'm fine, just scratches. I said with a cheery smile, but she seen through that, seeing my lonely eyes which wanted to escape her gaze. Midoriya, I can see something is bothering you, why won't you stay and we can talk about it? She said, hoping I would stay. I can't. I hung my head low and broke her grip off of my hands and walked off, leaving her worried. I woke up in the middle of the night from an all-familiar nightmare. I put on my vigilante clothes and a scarf or mask. I snuck out of the dorms from my window and left for the city for my patrol. Third person. It was time for class and everyone was ready for normal lesson. Hey, has anyone seen Midoriya? Aizawa asked. Everyone shaking their heads as no. Sorry I'm late, got hung up on some things. Izuku said while walking through the door towards his seat. Everyone noticed his hands were bandaged. Midoriya, why have you got the bandages on? Aizawa asked the question that everyone was thinking about. Oh that, well it's nothing, just training. Izuku said smiling. The classes went on as normal as any other schools, then there was a bell indicating lunchtime as everyone went to the cafeteria. Everyone headed for the cafeteria getting food sitting down in their group of friends. Izuku was sitting at an empty table, but not for long, Iida and Uraraka joined him. Hey Midoriya. Both of them said in unison. Hey, he said while greeting them with a cheery smile. Oh, I didn't introduce myself before, my name is Ichako Uraraka, nice to meet you Midoriya. Uraraka said while I shook her hand. Nice to meet you too Uraraka. Izuku's pav. Me, Iida and Uraraka were talking about anything that came up in our thoughts when All Might interrupted the conversation. Hey young Midoriya, can you come with me to talk about something? He said. Yeah sure, see you later. I said waving a goodbye to my friends. We were in the teacher lounge alone in private while he deflated. I just wanted to be sure that you would keep this pathetic form a secret. He asked. Yeah, my lips are shut. I said while looking at All Might, which had a saddened face. You did pretty good for a quirkless teen young Midoriya, are you sure you're quirkless? Stop doubting me, yes I am quirkless, but that doesn't mean I'm weaker than others, you doubted me from the second we met, broke my dreams, but I never gave up. Heroes are made by the path they chose, not by their power. I can't believe, out of all the people I'm talking about, this is you. I said while turning my back on him and walking out the door before stopping. Let me ask you, why did you recommend me to a hero course? I said while looking over my shoulder seeing him frown. That's what I thought, the world forgot about quirkless people. I said and walked off. I'm sorry for doubting you young Midoriya. All Might thought. It was the beginning of our last class and I walked in angered by All Might. I sat in my seat and stayed silent. Hey Midoriya, you okay? What was the talk with All Might? Iida asked. Nothing important, just figured out something about being quirkless. I said while looking at him with a smile. Midoriya, he was interrupted by also familiar voice All Might stepping through the door. I walk through the door like a normal person, he shouts out making everyone excited except me, Todoroki and Bakugo. I just looked away out the window at the trees in the distance, while feeling guilt reached me from All Might towards me. So he does feel something towards quirkless. I thought well he explained we are going to be doing hero training. We took out suits and went to the changing rooms. Chapter 5. Everyone went into the changing rooms to change into their hero costumes. I opened my suitcase and spotted that my suit was all black with red highlight lines covering its arms, legs, torso and back. It was an armored suit which was just a prototype, it would possibly block a knife. It was split into parts to make it easier to put on, torso, pants, gloves, combat shoes and lastly a dark mask that covered the whole head with a red visor. It was breathable with a filtration system for any gases and lastly a communicator. Before I could change I heard Mineta speak out in a perverted way. Guys, I found a hole made from the previous generation for us that leads straight to the heavens, Mineta shouts out not knowing that he was probably heard from the other side. It is unrespectful Mineta, this is breaking all the laws of privacy. Iida was commanding Mineta to stop with rules and all worthless words that won't change Mineta's mind. It's a one-time opportunity to see this. The perfect figures of all the girls there, the floating underwear of Hagakure, the hidden boobs of Asui, the lean figure of Uraraka, the gorgeous boobs of Yaoyorozu. He rips off the paper that was covering the hole when I had enough of this. I placed my hand on his shoulder squeezing it hard stopping his actions and turning to look at me in pain. I had enough of this, if you even sneak a peek you will be sleeping in the infirmary for the week. I said steady and firm tone while giving off the killer intent. He was so scared that he was trembling in fear with tears in his eyes while walking away to change. All that I heard some girls talk about me of what I did which I didn't pay attention to. I sealed the hole by heating the surroundings of the hole with my kai melting the wall sealing the hole. We changed, I left out the mask cause I didn't need it right now this mask was to put fear into the villains. We walked out into the fields for our next instructions. All Might explained to us that we are going to hold 2v2 battles, one team heroes other villains. When the time came to pick our teams at random I was paired with Yaoyorozu versus Bakugo, which was giving out a menacing aura and Iida. Hey Midoriya, so we are a team, by the way like your costume. Yaoyorozu said with a hint of admiration. Yeah thanks same to you, your costume is very practical with your quirk. I said. Yeah thanks, most people see this costume and think I am showing off my body. She said in a depressed tone. You've got 5 minutes to prepare All Might said through the earpiece. Don't worry about it, at least there's a person who admires your hard work. I said with a cheering smile which made Yaoirozu flattered. Why you got a plan, Midoriya? Yaoirozu asked while stuttering. Well, Sword of Bakugo is most definitely will come after me and Iida will be defending the bomb. When the match starts I will give you the location of the bomb with something to help you out with Iida, but be sure to have some sort of insulator on your hand to hold it and under your feet before using it. I said. Yeah, okay, but are you sure about this? Can you take on Bakugo by yourself? She said in a worried tone. I'll be okay, I should be worrying about you fighting Iida, because if that plan won't work you've got to improvise. I said. Yeah, okay. As soon as she said that All Might begin the match. We were running through the halls when I detected the signature of one person quickly approaching, while the other is stationary on the 5th floor. Okay, Yaoirozu, Iida and the bomb are on 5th floor while Bakugo is approaching fast. When he arrives I will distract him while you leave for the bomb. Make an insulator cloth on your hand. I said while looking at her. She nodded and started making the cloth. When she did I made my own ball of kai and placed it on her hand. Okay, be careful when you throw that on the floor, it should pass a large amount of electricity which will knock out Iida. Be sure to create the insulator cloth to stand on. I said. She was about to say something in return when I sensed Bakugo attack. I quickly launched myself at Bakugo, placing my hands against his hands to reduce the explosion to not hit Yaoirozu. Go, I shouted while throwing Bakugo into a wall. Yaoirozu ran away to the bomb and now I was alone with Bakugo. You quirkless shit, making everything difficult for me. You should have killed yourself to not bother busy people like me. You are a nobody, just a pebble in my road in becoming the number one. You're causing a lot of shit for me. Now I'm going to kill you. He was shouting at me with rage and killer intent while swinging fists at me with me counter-attacking. You have no right to say I've caused any shit to you. I should be the one saying this after all the things you've done. Number one, huh? You think you will be number one with that attitude? You hurt others while not knowing what pain you've caused. You can't imagine what pain you caused me when we were children. I just wanted a friend and you took everything from me and now I am left with nothing. You don't understand of how it feels to be in pain alone with no one by your side, waking up every day to only realize you're alone. At least you have your parents. I have no one. I shouting at him, releasing all my emotions. I stocked up while countering his punches and explosions. Like I care, that's what it should be like. You should have just killed yourself. As you can see, no one wants you, not even your parents. They probably left you. That shocked me and triggered my anger when I boosted my strength up and started to beat on Bakugo. I took him by his throat and threw him into the ground, cracking it. I charged my punch while aiming at his head. My fist made contact, shaking the whole building. I realized that I hit the floor and not his head. I looked at him and saw him laying unconscious, helpless. You don't understand, I am left with no one, not even a single person believes in me, not even the greatest hero who I admired. I'm just I was sobbing with tears rolling down my cheeks while I tried to wipe them off. I wrapped Bakugo with tape and made my way to the 5th floor when All Might shouted the match was finished. I walked up to the 5th floor and seen Iida barely standing, probably from the electricity, and Yaoirozu seemed happy. I see you did good, Yaoirozu. Iida, I hope it didn't take a huge toll on you. I said, smiling at Yaoirozu with some tears in my eyes. Yes, I did as you told me and it worked. Iida is just numb for now, but it will go away soon. But why do you have tears on you? She said. Oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it. I was interrupted. Deku, you worthless bastard, how dare you walk away from me? Bakugo was now standing in the doorway aiming with his gauntlets. Bakugo, that's enough, the match has ended. I was interrupted by Bakugo growling. I don't give a shit until I'm done with you, there's no end, you quirkless shit, now die. He said that when he started to pull 2 pins on both the gauntlets. No, Bakugo, it's too dangerous, All Might shouted in the earpiece. Momo, I shouted while seeing explosion go off. In that split second I chose to take the hit for Yaoirozu and Iida, so I crossed my arms and stood firm to the ground. There was a loud explosion and a lot of pain. When the smoke cleared out I was still standing in a defensive position, unable to move. My top was blown off, revealing my body while my arms were bleeding heavily from the explosion falling to my sides, my head ringing, while blood ran down my face covering my eyes. I spotted Bakugo, who seemed frozen in shock. I looked behind me and seen that Iida and Yaoirozu were safe but shocked. Hey guys, you okay? I said in between growls of pain. I tried my best to stay conscious. I started to walk up to Yaoirozu with teary eyes from the pain. My legs were trembling with my arms hanging low, shacking. Momo, I'm glad I couldn't finish when I fell and darkness overtook me. Third person. Before the final assault of Bakugo, everyone was listening to the conversation between Izuku and Bakugo. Geez, that's so unmanly, Bakugo should chill. Kirishima said while others looked in shock of what Bakugo was saying to Izuku. When Izuku started to speak, everyone was now trembling from sadness of how bad was his life. He has walked a hero's path alone without anyone, no parents, no friends. What life did he live? He is the most manliest man I've ever seen. He didn't give up on his dream, not even if he was quirkless, but his power is just unthinkable. Kirishima said while all the girls were tearing up. Everyone was now taken aback when Izuku started beating on Bakugo when he mentioned his parents. When Izuku knocked out Bakugo, he started sobbing while saying heartbreaking things that touched the girls' hearts. I'm not the only one in this world, but this is worse. Todoroki thought. When they saw that Bakugo was preparing to launch an attack after the match finished, they were in shock as it was close up between Bakugo and Izuku. When the explosion went off, everyone gasped in shock. When the smoke dispersed, they saw Yaoi Rozu and Iida fine. The explosion didn't reach them. They remembered that Izuku took the hit at the pinpoint distance defending the others. They saw Izuku bleeding heavily while trying to walk toward Yaoi Rozu. Momo, I'm glad USS Izuku said before fell unconscious. All Might ran towards the building up towards the 5th floor while seeing Yaoi Rozu holding Izuku close and Bakugo just standing there shocked. HETT took the B-blast to protect us. Yaoi Rozu said in between sobs. It's going to be okay, let me take him to the infirmary. All Might said. He took Izuku in his arms and ran towards the infirmary. Recovery girl, it's an emergency, All Might shouted, scaring Recovery girl. Oh my, what happened to the kid? She said in fear. He took a blast at a pinpoint distance. All Might said while placing Izuku on the bed. Izuku's pav. I slid my eyes open seeing a white ceiling. I turned my head to the side and saw Recovery girl seating. Oh, you're awake, how do you feel? She asked. How's Yaoi Rozu and Iida? I said in pain, right now I'm worried about them more than me. They are okay, you shielded them from the blast, but you on the other hand. She said pausing. As long as they are fine I'm okay. I said while sitting up with a groan. You shouldn't move, you had broken ribs and shattered arms, lost a lot of blood too, you are very lucky that it didn't do any permanent damage. Stay and recover. She said commanding me. I'm okay now, how long was I out? I asked. Sai, you only missed the training with All Might, so you can go back to the dorms, but don't put too much stress on yourself, it's going to be painful for a couple of days. She said worriedly. Okay, thank you for taking care of me, I'm leaving now. I walked out and headed towards the changing room. I didn't notice I wasn't wearing anything to cover my torso, but there was lots of bandages, so it was fine. I got my stuff and headed back to the dorm without bothering to change. I walked into the dorm and saw most of my classmates seating at the common area, and as soon as they spotted me they freaked out at me asking question if I was okay. Okay everyone, quiet down, I'm alright, okay, just some scratches and bruises, that's all. Yaoi Rozu, Iida, you both okay? I hope the explosion didn't reach you. I said in concerning tone. We are both fine thanks to you. Iida said while Yaoi Rozu started to tear up. She walked up to me and hugged me. Why you could have died. She says. What hero would I be if I didn't protect you two from danger? A hero's job is to put others before himself, and please could you loosen up, everything still hurts. I said in pain while she got flustered and backed up. That's so manly, Midoriya, sorry, but we overheard the conversation between you and Bakugo, would you like to talk about it? Kirishima asked. I hung my head low, disappointed. No I don't, I'm fine, how much did you hear? I asked while looking down. Everything, we're sorry but you've got us now, so don't you ever feel like you're alone. Kirishima said, placing his arms on my shoulders. Only if I could say the same, I need some time alone. I said while walking towards my room, leaving my classmates worried. I changed into some casual clothing and went outside. I was taking a stroll through a park looking at the beautiful nature with a pond reflecting the sun's light. I made my way to the mall when I spotted some people taking turns to play a guitar. Hey, what's this? I asked a person who was recording notes on a notebook, ranking. Oh hey, we having a competition here on live TV, whoever plays the best song wins this guitar. Would you like to have a go? Sure. I said when the other guy finished and I took his place. Okay, you can play whatever you like, when you're ready. The same man said. Well, here goes nothing, I can't even play, but why are my fingers seem to know what they are doing? I thought. Third person. Everyone was recording and were surprised as much as Izuku when he started to play. He never played a guitar before, but here he was making some melody. I never seen a kid play like that, who is he? Some person spoke out from the crowd. Yeah man, I can't believe it, this melody is beautiful, but at the same time sad. I'm guessing we found a winner here. Some other guy said. A lot of people admired the song, some girls were getting flustered while talking about Izuku. Back at the dorm, people at the common area were watching TV. When they were flipping through the channels they spotted Izuku playing a guitar. Wow, I never thought he played guitar. Jiro said in excited and surprising voice. Yeah, he's so manly. Not only does he strive to be a hero while being quirkless, he also is talented. Kirishima said. Most of the girls called dibs on Izuku. This melody is so beautiful. Yaoirozu said but noticed that Izuku saw loneliness in his eyes. Midoriya, why won't you accept our help? She thought. When Izuku stopped playing, everyone was clapping while Izuku had teary eyes. Young man, we believe that there's no need for any other competitors, we believe you have wonderful talent and won the prize, here you go. Izuku received a Dean Cadillac transparent green guitar with, "Thank you, I appreciate it." Izuku's paw. I was walking back to the dorms. Why did I feel so sad when I played that melody? I was interrupted when I was already in front of the dorms. I walked in and was bombarded with praises and questions. "Hey Midoriya, since when can you play?" Jiru asked curiously. "Well, I kinda picked it up," I said nervously, rubbing the back of my neck. When they finished, I cooked myself some food, ate and went to my room when I was stopped by someone. "Midoriya, let's talk," Yaoirozu said. "Hey, what would you like to talk about?" I asked. "Let's talk about the feelings you are bottling up, I can see you're grieving alone, your eyes tell everything, you act like you're fine, but you're not, please let me help you." "I'm fine, after all I got this new guitar and saved 2 of my classmates today." But there's no reason to worry about me, as long as you happy I'm happy too," I said and realized I messed up. "Why me?" she asked me, curious, looking straight into my eyes. "Hahaha, well, that just spat out of nowhere, forget about it," I said nervously while turning around and started to walk away when she shouted out. "I'm worried about you." I froze while looking down, I started feeling uneasy in my chest as if it was tightening. My eyes started to tear up while I looked back to see Yaoirozu's worried expression. My body started walking on its own towards Yaoirozu, my hand was reaching out on her cheek, well, I felt the need to kiss her and tell all my worries. "Momo, I've missed you," I said without thinking, reaching for a kiss. She was shocked by my sudden actions. "Midoriya," she said in shock. I stopped my actions while pulling away my whole body, I saw memories flood in my mind when I was with Momo. "I'm sorry, that never happened to me, I don't want to hurt you again, I got to go," I said while running out of the dorms. "Why do I feel like this? It's like I'm being split into 2," I thought in my head while running through the streets. I started to park her up the roofs towards the city center, ignoring the pain. I stopped when I was at my stop, I saw the same place of my nightmare where all my family died. Why does it always have to happen to me? It's like for every good deed I do I get punished. I said out loud while sat on the edge of the roof, looking at bystanders walking, minding their own business. I brought out my new guitar from around my shoulder while my fingers were adjusting to the strings. This might take my mind off of things. I was playing random melodies for a while, the sun was setting now, so I packed up, took my last glance at the place where my friends died and walked off. This feeling in my chest, the bitterness just won't go away. When I made it to the dorms, I went to change into my training clothes and went out for training in the woods. Next day. I was walking to my class and when I opened the door I saw the whole class staring at me. "Hey Midoriya, why are you late?" Azawa asked. "I'm sorry that I'm late, I was just training and went to visit one place to get my mind in check," I said. "I will let you off the hook this once, but if you do that again, you know," he said boringly. "Yeah, I've got it," I said while walking to my seat next to a window. I felt Yaoirozu's gaze follow me. "Okay people, today you will have to make a choice who will become the class representative and vice," Azawa said. Everyone started to pick themselves while I just sat there thinking of a way to get stronger. "Everyone quiet down, we should do a vote," Iida exclaimed. So we did, I voted for Iida as he was the perfect fit, but Yaoirozu was good too, she could be the vice. When the tally came up I had the most votes followed by Yaoirozu. "Okay, who the buck picked a quirkless shit and not me," Bakugo shouted out. "Bakugo, calm down, it's not like I want this position," I said while resting my head on my palms. "But Midoriya, you have the most votes," Iida said while shooting gestures in the air. I stood up and walked towards Iida, placing both of my hands on his shoulders. "Iida, I don't like the position, I prefer you to be the class representative as I was the one to vote for you. So here it is, I deem you worthy of this job, I hereby nominate you Tenya Iida to be the class representative of Class 1A," I said proudly while shaking his hand. "I won't let you down." So Iida was the class rep while Yaoirozu was the vice. The lessons went by as usual, I had no reason to take any notes as I knew most of the stuff there. It was lunchtime now, so everyone went to grab their lunch. I sat at the table with Uraraka and Iida. When I finished the food I went to throw things away when I felt killer intent. Wow, he never quits, does he? What did I do now? I thought while looking behind me to see Bakugo steaming with anger, stomping his feet towards me as if he was some sort of elephant. "Deku, you piece of shit, you think you're better than me, is this why you refused the role for the class rep? You're worthless." He was spatting out those words with venom. Everyone in the cafeteria was looking at us now like we were some sort of entertainers. "Not now, Bakugo," I said calmly. "Oh no, you're not walking away from this today, I will put you in your place as it seems you forgot about it," he said while blocking my way. Oh my god, could you stop the act now, you're pissing me off, Deku you that, Deku you this, I'm tired of putting up with your shit, I shouted out in frustration. Well, I'm tired of you, you worthless shit, just die already like your parents, he spat, which was his mistake, as I began to give out a menacing aura with killer intent. I snapped at him by quickly appearing in front of him, grabbing his neck, smashing him into the ground, and now I was pummeling him down with furious punches which made the whole cafeteria shake. I stopped when he was unable to move a muscle. If you ever talk about my parent ever again, you won't see the next day, and I promise you that, I said with a threatening tone. I left the cafeteria, leaving shocked audience and a bleeding Bakugo. Young Midoriya, that is not acceptable, come with me, All Might ordered with a firm tone which got everyone out of their shock, while I followed him into the principal office. Hello Midoriya, take a seat, would you like some tea? Nezu asked. No thank you, just get to the point, what punishment I'm getting? I asked. Okay, very well, first you've got to apologize to Baku, I interrupted him. There's no way I'm apologizing to him, anything but that. There's nothing you can do to make me do that, I refuse. I said with anger. I thought so, you will be under house arrest and under surveillance, if you pick a fight with anyone else you will be expelled. He said. Very well, can I go now? He nods and I left. I was walking to my class when the alarm went off, commanding student it is a breach and to get to the emergency, which caused a huge panic. I looked outside and seen that it was only the press. Wait, the gate was disintegrated, Shigaraki, I thought while sensing evil presence, and I followed it to a teacher's file room. I snuck a peek when I saw him grabbing some files. You know this place is prohibited for everyone except the staff, I said, shocking Shigaraki. Nice observation, kid, but you sound very familiar. No matter, Kurogiri, he said, well, the purple warp appeared and I wasn't fast enough to overtake him when they disappeared. I chose not to say anything, they might ask for evidence which I don't have or suspect me, I chose to be on my guard and train harder for the upcoming encounter. Chapter 6. It was a Sunday morning, but there was no time for rest. I got up from my bed, stretching with a satisfying yawn, did all my business in the bathroom, got dressed in casual clothing, dark blue relaxed fit jeans, light green t-shirt with a dark green hoodie and my signature red Snickers, picked my wallet up and went. I walked down to the common area to make some breakfast and saw nobody. Oh right, at 6 it's expected, I thought. I made some breakfast with lots of protein while looking up some news on recent activities of the villains. For the past weeks the crime level has dropped dramatically. What could that mean? Is this the work of the heroes? The news reporter informed. Well, I'm guessing that must be something with Shigaraki sneaking in, they planning and preparing, I thought. On the other hand, we keep getting glances of the vigilante limit breaker, he keeps getting involved with crime, some people admire him, while others don't. The villains that met him have something different to say about this mysterious vigilante. They say when you look in his eyes you can see death itself, the reported stated. That surprised me and I finished my food while turning the TV off and went to clean my dish and went for my job. Time skip. I finished my job at the local cafe where I am working as a cook and as a butler to earn more cash and getting free meals on my breaks. I'm well known since I started to work about a half a month ago and I like the place. There's mostly women coming round and glancing at me, giving me tips. I've got nothing against it, but I got to make up to them, so I give customers best attention, making the women flustered with my actions and want me more. Things were getting out of hand, but the business was booming as the word spread between the women. I went to my next requested job, which was a hard labor. I really liked it as it focused on my training as well as getting paid. I've got various of tasks from demolishing the building to rebuilding it anew. Time skip. After the job I was invited to go to the bar with my work colleagues, which I respectfully declined this once. I walked to a store buying some toys for kids. With that I went back to the dorms and was greeted by everyone as it was already 4 p.m. Hey Midoriya, where you been the whole time and what's this you're holding? Kirishima asked. Oh, I was working and this, it's nothing, just some toys for kids, I said in a cheery tone. All of the people had a questioning look. I was about to say the reason when I was interrupted. Hey Deku, don't tell me you still play with kids' toys, you're so pathetic, Bakugo shouted out of the blue while walking up to me with Spark in his hands. Don't you dare touch these toys, they're not for you to play around with, I spat out with anger. Bakugo, chill. Kirishima tried to stop him but was too late and he shot out a blast which I took with my back to protect the toys while ripping back of my shirt. Are you bucking kidding me? I was working my butt off to earn money to buy these gifts and you're here blowing this stuff up that can bring smiles on the children's faces. You're the one pathetic here, I spat out, overflowing with rage while looking straight into his eyes. Who the buck gives a shit, he spat. I do. You wouldn't understand people's emotions when you're like this. This will make the children happy and feeling cared for, I said while walking passing him. I don't care if you hate me, but if you buck with my plans on bringing smiles to people's faces things won't go your way, I said walking to my room, leaving everyone shocked. Hey, don't walk away from me, your mother just wasted her time on you, Bakugo spat out, which infuriated me with smoldering rage, pumping every vessel in my body like it's about to explode with massive energy. I placed the toys down and turned towards Bakugo, which had a grin on his face waiting for a fight. The whole building started to shake from the power I was gathering, little electricity coursed on my body like dancing flames. I took a step forwards, raising my hardened fists, but was frozen in my tracks when I remembered what Nezu said. It took all of my energy not to burst with anger. Always someone afraid. I bet you are shaking in your boots about to shit your pants, Bakugo spat sarcastically. This bucking society is unfair to quirkless people, we're being discriminated. You see, Bakugo, I wouldn't mind beating the living shit out of you, but I don't want to get expelled multiple of times. You tried fighting me, but the teachers turned a blind eye on you. Well, when I fought back I was scolded and given a warning, if it ever happens again I will be expelled. I said while staring him dead in the eye, seeing the infuriating raging flames. What's your point, Deku? My point is that what's the difference between me and you? We both want to be heroes, but for different reasons. You've got a different attitude unlike me, and lastly, you've got a quirk unlike me, so what's the main reason you're being overlooked while they treat me like shit? In today's society the true heroes are dying, few of them are left. Everyone says the appearance of quirks was astonishing, a new beginning for humanity. Well, I think quirks bring only trouble. I rather have the old world back where people were all quirkless. I said while seeing my classmates stare intensively when I started to walk back to my room with the toys. I changed my shirt, which was grey, grabbed a suitcase filled with money I earned and the toys, and made my way down to the common area. While passing by, everyone was silent as they didn't know what to say. I was walking towards one of the orphanages while sensed someone following. This energy feels very familiar. Hey Yaoi Rozu, I know you're there, would you like to join me for a stroll? I asked and immediately Momo appeared. You've got me, I'll join you gladly. Momo's pav. We were at the orphanage, and Midoriya gave the money for the orphanage and multiple toys for kids to play with. Hey Izu, would you like to play heroes and villains? One of the kids said. You heroes cannot defeat me as I am the strongest, I've came to defeat you all. Midoriya said with a playful tone, making kids gather up pretending they are heroes. We will defeat you, the kids say in unison. While they played, I've seen Midoriya smile, not like his usual smile, but a very genuine smile which made me happy. He's like a father figure I would like to have. Wait, what? No, I mean girls will like him if they seen this side of him. He's cute, strong, knows how to cook and very father-like attitude towards kids. I thought while being pulled out of my daydream by a lady that worked here. You must be very lucky, lady, to have a young man like Midoriya. The lady said, making me blush heavily. Yeah, wait, and no, we're not a CC couple, just friends from school. I said, stuttering. Oh, I see, well, good luck with him, he's a very nice boy, he's like a rare specimen. He is trying his best to show everyone that no matter the dream you've got to fight for it. He helped a lot of kids around town and helped people who couldn't pay for the damage of the villain attacks, which should be paid by heroes, but most of them are being selfish. He's a very nice boy, it's rare to know or see a person like him during these times, don't waste it. She said while winking at me, making me flustered, and walked away. Thank you again, Midoriya, for supporting us, we wish you good luck. Thank you, Izu, come again soon, the children shouted while hugging him. No worries, I just doing my job as a hero, right? I would like to see you all become great people. He said in an exciting tone. We were about to walk out when he was pulled by his jeans. Oh Zach, is there something wrong? He asked while he seemed down. Izu, I have a question, can I become a hero just like you with a weak quirk like mine? He asked him while I've seen him kneeling down onto one of his knees looking at him and ruffling his hair. Hey, don't be like that, don't give up on your dreams. With willpower and determination alone you can go far. You also got all your friends by your side, and there's also me who believes that you can become someone great if you don't give up. Look at me, I'm quirkless and made it into the hero course. If you train you could prove the world that you're here. You've got to believe in yourself. You know, Izu, you are the one I admire most, more that All Might, you're the best. Ah, stop, you're flattering me. Okay then, bye, he said in a playful tone while waving. Wow, he's so caring, giving up his time to help people in need. He looked like a perfect father figure for our kids. He looked so cute while playing with them with his smile. I never seen before. Wait, what? Where did that come from? And what's this throbbing in my heart? It's like I'm heating up. I look at him while we walked back to the dorms. He seems so happy when around kids. Third person. Everyone was in the common area when they saw Momo and Izuku walk in with a happy face. They greeted each other, and Izuku went to change into his training clothes, while Mina suggested to do a room tour. There was no denying that the girls were overjoyed. Izuku came back to the common area while seeing everyone blooming. Hey, what's with the faces, is there a unicorn running around? Izuku asked in a jokingly tone. Oh Midoriya, we are holding a tour around the boys' rooms, and you're joining, Mina shouted out, and others agreed. I'm afraid I should decline the offer, as much as I want to. I'm going out to train. If you want you can check my room, it's unlocked, so see you around. Izuku said while running out the dorms. Well, I guess he gave us permission. Mina said while a smile appeared on her face which caused the girls to freak out. What's with the smile, Ishido? Momo asked her while other girls nodded in acknowledgement. We could find out more about Midoriya, something he likes or maybe something to embarrass him with. Or the scent of him. She said with a sadistic smile. Everyone was done touring around and left Izuku's room for last. Now they approached his room. They opened the door revealing a simple but a complex room. It was like the school provided, but with lots of books on the table with papers scattered all over it with notes. There was a punching bag which was fading in color. Some silver suitcases under his bed which Momo realized was the same as the one that Izuku brought for the orphanage. Wow, this wasn't what I expected, but the punching bag was. Kirishima said, breaking the silence while walking up to the punching bag. He cocked his fist back and punched the bag, which made his hand ache in pain which surged through his body, revealing a growl. Geez, does he have bricks in it or what? Kirishima shouted out. Some girls looked around. Mina was looking through the drawers with an exciting expression. Ishido, Momo shouted. What, I'm interested. He gave permission, and by the way, imagine how hot Midoriya will be in these. She said while pulling out one of Izuku's underwear. Momo flushed with red on her face and walked up to the table looking at the books which were full of studying resources. There were notes about the solutions of how to work to Izuku's best ability to gain enough money to donate for the orphanage, leaving him with little amount to no money at all. He's trying so hard to bring up the orphanage by himself, placing the orphanage before himself and the different charities. I've seen him today at the orphanage playing with the kids with a genuine smile. He was like a perfect father figure. Momo spoke out. Most of the girls felt jealous but also amazed and shocked. I call dibs on him. Most of the girls apart from Momo shouted out. Geez, there's a lot of money here, Kirishima shouted while he opened the case which was under Izuku's bed. Kirishima, please leave it be, that's Midoriya's hard work. Momo said in a pleading voice. Yeah, I know, I wouldn't do anything disrespectful after he tries so hard to do what's right, that would be so unmanly. He said, acknowledging Izuku's determination. While they were walking out, Momo caught a glance of a notebook being hidden by the load of books and papers. Momo's pav. What's this? I thought while making my way to the notebook, clearing the path of this mess neatly and grabbing the notebook. The notebook was in plain black color with nothing labeling it. I opened it and it was handwritten. Probably Midoriya's handwriting. I thought. I looked inside the notebook. It stated it was his journal since he was 4. I was reading through the notes and realized of how lonely Midoriya was. He only had his mother by his side, and from what I recall with Midoriya's and Bakugo's interactions, Midoriya's parents are gone. There was nothing else other than training plans, and so I walked away. When I made my way out to the common area where everyone was waiting for me, I suspect. Hey Yaoi Rozu, what took you so long? Sneaked a peek at Midoriya's stuff. Mina said with a wide smile. No, I did not, I just took my time. I said when the whole building started to shake and screams were heard outside in the training field. We all ran to the training fields and saw Midoriya panting on the ground on his knees. There was some sparks of electricity flowing through the ground and immense heat reaching our faces. While looking around, all the ground was dug up as if it was pulled out. What happened here? Kirishima spoke. Oh, nothing, just training. Midoriya said in between gasps for air. Don't push yourself too much, Midoriya, it might have a negative effect on you. I said with a worried tone. There's no time for rest, I've got to work harder than anyone else to protect the ones that I love. He said that while looking at me straight in my eyes, making me feel warm as if telling me I was the one he wants to protect. But why? Izuku's pav. I was back in my room taking a shower. I felt it, there was more shackles on me. I can break much more. I've got to increase the intensity of my training. Maybe emotions are the key, or maybe you should temporarily lose one of your senses to multiply your others. I was in thought while finishing the shower, drying myself off. I dressed myself, putting on a gray tank top and black shorts. I walked downstairs to the common area to cook some food. It was around 9 p.m. and I thought there will be less people there as they might taking some time off alone. I walked in and saw no one. Well, this is convenient. I said to myself while preparing some ingredients for a high-protein meal and a balanced diet. I was cooking when I felt someone staring. Moyoi Rozu, is there something you need? I said. No, I wanted to say that I admire you for the things you do. I never seen or met a person like you before, but don't you think you being too selfless to yourself? You could have left more money for yourself, but left only enough to buy some cheap clothes or nothing at all. And this training you're doing is very intense, don't you think? I'm worried that you will take it too far. So tell me what's the reason to this. It can't be just from the kindness of your heart. And the will to protect. She said in a worried tone which I heard multiple of times. I finished cooking, placed the food on a plate and sat down. So you see, it is from the kindness of my heart and the desire to protect my loved ones. I just can't stand it when other people are in pain, so I'm doing everything in my power to put a smile on their faces, even if I have to be this selfless. I don't want other people to experience the things I did. I was lucky to still be alive. I never knew my father as he left my mother and I alone. When I was deemed quirkless, people started to bully me. One of them was Bakugo. Because of this I was alone with no friends, only my mother by my side. But that too had to disappear from my life. Me and my mother were kidnapped by the villains. They messed with my mother's mind, turning her into a villain. My father was part of the villains. They wanted to use me as a lab rat, but were not successful in breaking me, so they killed my mother in front of me, splattering her blood all over me. I still can't wash away the blood on me. I started to sob. Well, Momo hugged me, comforting me. It's okay now, you lived through this, your mother would be happy that you are alive, and that's what you need to know. She said in a caring voice. I just don't know what to do now. When I met you and the others, I started to break in two. You remind me of the memories that were implanted in my brain while I was tortured. I didn't care about the physical pain, but they used some quirk on me which showed me different realities of my life, but they showed me how you and others died in my hands in every vision because of me being weak. I can't save anyone, I'm just useless. These different realities gave me the memories and feelings of the other me's. There were some happy moments too. I was crying into her shoulder while she patted me on my back. You know, these feelings that brew inside me when I saw you were the same as in the memories. No matter what, I loved you in every one of them. So there's your answer when you ask me why I looked at you in that way. It's because we lived happily together as a family with our little girl. I was so happy when I saw you, not even knowing you personally, but my heart had its ways. I missed you, Momo. I pulled away from her, looking at the beautiful eyes which were tearing up while grabbing her cheek softly with both of my hands. She looked shocked at my response and actions. She blushed intensively. I felt the heat radiating off of her. I pulled her closer into a kiss while we closed our eyes and kissed. She took this kiss with her soft lips. We intertwined our tongues like snakes, but I was dominating and ventured in her mouth. We've been that way about 30 seconds before pulling away, creating a line of saliva in between us, catching our breaths. Momo, I love you with all my heart. I said, making her flustered. I love you too, Izuku. She stuttered. We hugged each other one more time before she realized what happened. She ran away with a huge blush covering her face. See you soon, Momo. I thought to myself. Momo's pav. Oh my god, I can't believe what we did. We aren't that close, but I felt like we've known each other for an eternity. The kiss was so passionate and hot, it was like I melted in his mouth. He seemed so hot and cute at the same time. I wanted more of him. Wait, put your head into the game. We might have kissed, but I think I'm in love. Izuku's pav time skip. It was the beginning of school. We were told we are having a trip to the USJ, which made everyone cheer except for me. I had a very bad feeling about this. We took the bus and everyone talking to each other while I was spacing out watching the landscape pass by. Midoriya, it's I was calling me out. Oh sorry, I was just spacing out. What is it? I always say everything that's on my mind. Kiro, Midoriya, how did you become so strong while being quirkless? Kiro, she asked me while others were curious too. With sheer will and determination you can achieve anything, that's my motto. Quirkless are different to quirkful. Quirkless can go beyond their limits with training. There's limiters that quirkless people have, like shackles which can be broken. With what I know, these limiters make up for being quirkless, whereas quirkful have their quirks or mutated quirks that limit their body to a specific limiter. You might find it harder to break them. That's all I could find out from books and stuff. The other thing is that I can control my Kai, the spiritual energy, for what I want, which is also limited. The Kai should be balanced with your spiritual energy and physical strength, or simply mind and body. When they work together you will be more powerful. The other day you saw me powering up, focusing on releasing energy throughout my body to increase all my attributes, trying to reach new heights. Well, there it is. I said, looking around at the dumbfounded classmates looking in disbelief. Oh sorry, I should have shortened it. Sometimes I get carried away, sorry about that. I said, apologizing. Hey, don't worry man, at least you are making your technique look outstanding. It's cool and flashy, whereas I've got this hardening which isn't that much of a deal. Kirishima said in a saddened tone. Hey, I appreciate the compliment, but there's no point in defining quirks by how flashy or cool they are. They should be judged by the hard work you did to improve it. That's what's important. I said, cheering up Kirishima, and he nods. We made it to the USJ. Everyone was wearing their costumes, whereas I was wearing the PE kit for obvious reason. We made our way with Aizawa into the USJ, being greeted by number 13. I can feel this menacing aura, the villains planning to attack us. I thought while being on my guard, looking around intensively. Aizawa, no. 13, we've got trouble, villains about to add. I was cut off by purple warps appearing in the center of the USJ. An army of villains appeared with 4 main ones that stood out. Okay people, we're here to kill All Might and take someone back, Shigaraki shouted out. Izuku, it's been a long time, Hisashi shouted happily, which made me sick. Everyone were frozen in place. Hisashi. Chapter 7. Hisashi, I screamed, earning looks from my classmates. Everyone stay back, these are real villains. 13 Take care of the evacuation of the kids, Aizawa commanded, and dropped down in the center, starting to fight back the villains while erasing their quirks, starting with the ones that were long-range attackers. Okay kids, head for the exit, number 13 commanded us, but was too late when the warp guy appeared in front of us. Greetings, my name's Kurogiri, pleasure to meet you. We heard All Might was supposed to be here, but we still got our grand prize here. He said in a casual tone while looking at me. Before we knew what has happened, everyone was warped to different areas. I was warped to the center of the USJ next to Shigaraki, Hisashi, Kurogiri, and some bird-beak creature which stood motionless like a corpse. I was being surrounded by some low-level villains while having grins on their faces. Okay guys, time to level up, but be sure not to get his health down to 0. Shigaraki said like it was some sort of RPG game. Everything happened the same as in an anime with all the other classmates. I stood up quickly, powering up to an appropriate level for combat against big groups. I've been waiting for this, I said with a grin and confidence while standing in a fighting stance. They all charged me with various quirks ranging from close quarters to long range. I quickly made up my mind to knock out the long range attackers quickly and swiftly by either chopping them on the neck or punching them in the stomach. It didn't took too long before I was standing with knocked out bodies facing the close range attackers. I quickly pushed out some energy into my hand, producing a ball of energy. I shot it out from my palm into the crowd, blowing them all up, but without any severe injuries, only knocking them out. Well, I guess it's only me and you guys, I said with a smirk on my face, facing the 4 main villains. Finally I can take them down for what they did and will do. Knew Shigaraki couldn't finish when I punched both him and Hisashi straight in the face, sending them flying. I turned my attention to Kurogiri, who was about to warp but didn't have a chance when I pinned him down by grasping the metal piece of armor I spotted. Where do you think you're going? I asked rhetorically. I took my time looking around my surroundings, seeing Aizawa engaged with Shigaraki and Hisashi. I saw that Aizawa was struggling against the two while also fending off the small fry with his disintegrated elbow. Shigaraki used sneak attacks, counting every move Aizawa made, and made his move when someone else attacked, while Hisashi was using his fire breath at long range, which was erased from time to time. I quickly knocked out Kurogiri by smacking him into the ground and launching myself, knocking out all the small-time villains. Then I stood next to Aizawa. Need a hand, Aizawa-sensei? I gave you an order to flee. Well, sorry, we were interrupted by being warped here. I lost sight of all the others, but most if not all the small villains are laying on the floor now. We need to watch out with the bird creature. Why is the lifeless creature still standing? I thought while glaring at the two in front of us. Izuku, I see you've become stronger since we met. You pulled the same move as before, punching me in the jaw again. You could have been a very good Naomu like the one behind us, even better, a perfection. Hisashi spoke while glancing over at Shigaraki and nodding. Naomu, kill the one in black robes, Shigaraki commanded. I saw the Naomu glance at Aizawa and everything seemed to stop. I seen how Naomu was approaching fast before my eyes. My instincts took over and I pushed Aizawa out of the way, receiving a huge hit on my face, sending me in the forest district, crushing through multiple of trees, hearing the crushing noise from my bones. Once I landed, I felt as if I was hit by a tank. My body was hardly responding to my commands. This pain was intense to just forget and get up. I felt my vision fading but couldn't do anything, only watch where Aizawa was thrown like a rag doll. Third person. Everyone made their way to the stairs, seeing Aizawa with Izuku speaking with the two villains Shigaraki and Hisashi. We've got to get out of this mess, Aizawa-sensei gave us an order. Kaminari shouted out while Mineta agreed. And you see Aizawa's elbow is busted up and these villains don't look like normal villains we fought, and that creature just standing there. Uraraka spoke too soon when interrupted by Shigaraki shouting out. Naomu, kill the one in the black robes. They all saw a blur pass by and the next second Aizawa on the ground and Izuku flying towards the forest. Everyone gasped at the horror of the power this creature possessed, but then this creature was pummeling down on Aizawa like a rag doll, holding him against the ground, bleeding from the head, crushing his arm like a twig, which made a nasty snap that echoed throughout the USJ. Everyone feared for their life. How you're feeling, Eraserhead? Not hurt, are you? Why don't we kill some more of your students in front of you? I hoped we could have spared Midoriya, but he had to be a hero like always. Shigaraki said in a sarcastic tone. Let him go, Izuku shouted out while everyone glanced at Izuku's beaten body. There was blood pouring down his face. The bruising was severe. Half of his shirt was gone, showing a very bad bruise, indicating his ribs were broken. He seemed to struggle to stand on his feet while wobbling about. Oh, Izuku, so happy you didn't die. That would have been a tragic for our Hisashi was talking while Izuku interrupted him. Shut it, you're going to pay for what you've done, scum. Everyone was relieved that Izuku is still alive, but Momo was concerned. Izuku's pav. If I want to beat that creature I've got to go full out. I used the limit breaker and started powering up to my max while making the whole USJ shake from the energy output I was creating. The electricity was flowing through my body, the floor tiles were ripping off, levitating in the air from the static electricity. I was filling the USJ with my screams, taking the attention of everyone. "You're ready to see your maker?" I shouted rhetorically. I was gone in a flash, appearing in front of Shigaraki and Hisashi, which looked afraid. "Namu!" Shigaraki shouted out quickly, afraid, and in a flash the two of us collided fists, which sent me back a few feet. Not even now, I'm nowhere near its level. I screamed in my head when I started rampaging on its body, punching and kicking, trying to inflict some damage, using my Kai as explosives which did little to no damage at all. "There's no point, kid, the Namu has shock absorption." Shigaraki spoke, giving a valuable information. "So if I continue to barrage the creature with everything I've got, the shock absorption might give in, or I might stall enough time for help to arrive," I thought. I started to punch furiously at the creature and avoiding its punches while countering them, which was making shock waves all around us, cracking the floor. This continued for about 2-3 minutes with no progression. This was wearing me down. I can't keep up with him, and soon I was punched right down on my face, sending me straight to the ground, making a crater. I felt as if my face was now broken in pieces by that punch. I was about to stand up when I received a kick to my side, launching me through the floor up to the surface while hearing some cracking noises from my bones. "Arg!" I growled in pain while tears were threatening to leave my eyes. I looked at the creature with my blurry vision, which was walking up to me. I was receiving punch after punch either to my face or my stomach, sending me further into the ground. I was laying motionlessly in a pool of my own blood. "Namu, stop, that's enough, let's focus on the students. Who might we pick?" "Why not the hot eye?" Shigaraki said in a menacing tone, glancing over at Momo, which scared everyone out of their boots. They couldn't protect her after seeing the Namu's power. "No, I can't let him do that, but my body won't move. Why can't I move? I'm pathetic. It's going to happen all over again, but for real, no, I won't let that happen. I won't let Momo die," I was screaming in my head, pushing my body up to my feet with every fiber in my body, with every drop of energy I have left, with a growl of pain. "Oh Midoriya, you're up again. Why won't you give up? You've seen and felt the difference in power. Why do you keep fighting?" Shigaraki said, drawing attention from my class, which were horrified and speechless. "Difference in power? That doesn't matter at all. I'll fight to my last breath to protect my family and won't give up until I win with all my strength. I will defeat all of yours," I shouted out, making Shigaraki irritated by my stubbornness. "Okay, I've got to put everything in one attack, only this will work. I've got to focus only on my strength. I've got to reduce all my senses to get more power. I've got to focus deep within me, the power beyond my own. I've got to grab it now or never." I was disabling my senses to get more power, to focus only on my beam. My hearing was gone, my sense of touch was gone, the smell and taste of blood was gone, my vision turned to black and white. I was trying to find the source of power. With every step I did, I went deeper to the source, this feeling of warmth and power. I saw the Namu walking straight for me in a slow pace, while Shigaraki and Hisashi looked like they were about to laugh. I felt multiple shackles on my body, preventing from exerting myself. "Please, I've got to lend me your power." I felt something breaking within me, like I was about to collapse. I felt the shackles shaking in me, not one but many, more beyond my capability to control. It felt like everything went into slow motion when I saw a bright light within me shining. It was a shackle that stood out from all the others. "Izuku, this power is beyond your control. If you use it, you most likely die. We saw you progress and saw your strength. We could make you unbeatable if you leave now." The voices spoke from the light. "Who do they think I am? There's no way I'm leaving my friends. There's no way I'm running away, abandoning my friends. No way, I will fight to the bitter end," I screamed in my head. "Very well." They spoke while their voices were echoing in my head while the bright shackle was cracking, making all the others shake. "He will become a great legend. He chose friends over power. He will be the greatest out of all of us. Good luck, Izuku," the voices thought. The shackle broke apart when a massive surge of energy flew out, shattering the others, making its way all over my body. This feeling of power was nothing I ever felt before. It was the definition of power. But I screamed when my whole body got enveloped in dark crimson red aura that was mixed with my blood. My body screamed in agony of the pain this power was causing. My whole body was ripping apart while contracting the muscles intensively like they about to explode. Blood poured out of everywhere, my skin that was splitting like cuts with a sword, ears, eyes, nose and mouth bleeding heavily. It felt like my body was shattering, splitting in two. All my muscle fibers were ripping, while my heart pumping and squeezing at inhuman speed, like it's about to explode through my chest. "I got to make it quick," I shouted in between roars of pain. "Ha!" I shot out a beam at the Namu, which cocked its fist back, creating wind pressure, looking like it can equal with All Might's power. When my beam reached the Namu there it hit it and created a huge sonic boom, which caused everyone around to get launched far away, shattering and breaking the ceiling of the USJ, while the Namu was struggling to keep itself firm to the ground. Its fist was burning away and regenerating repeatedly. Namu has a regeneration quirk, so there's no way you can defeat it, Shigaraki shouted out in anger and fear, thinking the Namu might lose. I was growling at the pain while pushing further, seeing that the Namu was growing weaker. I guess shock absorption and regeneration can't keep up. I thought while seeing the Namu being forced to its knees and the beam engulfed its body when the screeches were heard. The beam stopped as I ran out of energy, not a single drop of energy left in me, but I was still standing with my hands to my sides motionless. I seen that the Namu was unconscious, which surprised me, and Shigaraki was mad with surprises and shock from Hisashi. I glanced at my classmates, which were pushed to the floor by the pressure, seeing them unharmed was the only thing I needed. Momo and I made eye contact and saw her eyes, they looked like she's crying, but I'm not sure with my blurry vision. I motioned with my lips, I love you. You bastard, you've got to be kidding me, that Namu was made for All Might, not for a quirkless boy. I will take the initiative in killing you, Shigaraki shouts out, while Hisashi looked dumbfounded. I couldn't hear anything or feel anything, only see Shigaraki running towards me, but my body was now just a corpse. I was lucky to still be conscious. The door to the USJ was blown away with multiple heroes arriving with Iida and All Might in front. Have no fear, for I am here. All Might didn't have his signature smile anymore. Shigaraki, we have to get out of here, Kurogiri is now conscious, we better move, we get them next time. Hisashi spoke out, dragging Shigaraki away towards Kurogiri. Hisashi, I hope you're happy you're the last, Midoriya, I screamed out with my last breaths, seeing Hisashi guilty look. Before everything went dark and cold seeped in. Third person. Everyone looked in shock at their surroundings, this was not USJ anymore. The teachers saw that most of the students were next to the stairs with Aizawa and number 13 injured, with dozens of knocked out villains at the center, where there stood bloodied and broken Izuku, which shocked everyone. How's he still standing with a creature couple feet away? Hisashi, I hope you're happy you're the last, Midoriya, Izuku said, which shocked everyone, even Hisashi. They saw Izuku's body still standing like a living corpse. The three villains escaped. Izuku, Momo screamed out, running towards his body, pushing her face into his chest, which had no heartbeat. Ed, don't leave me, remember what you told me, the life we lived in your different reality, in every reality. I love you, Izuku, come back, I want to be with you, Momo was crying while hugging his body tightly. Doom, doom, doom. Momo felt his heartbeat beating again, which made her cry even more. Please somebody, his heart's still beating. Izuku's mind. I was floating in an open abyss of darkness without any light. Don't leave me, was that Momo? I love you, Izuku, come back, Momo, I love you too, but my time has come. I started to see a blinding light with a figure standing there. Aizu, my darling, are you ready to go? Mum, I'm sorry I couldn't protect you, I'm so sorry. Don't worry, Aizu, you did your best, but it broke me seeing you all alone. That Momo girl seems she loves you, are you ready to give up? Mum, I don't know, I missed you, and I was all alone and I can't keep on going, but the girl is on your side with all of your classmates, and I would love to see grandchildren from you. You still have a long road ahead of you, Aizu, until then I'll be waiting and watching you. Mum, no, I screamed and pulled out my hand, but darkness engulfed me. Izuku's pav. I shot my eyes open, seeing a white ceiling. My vision was adjusting while I smelt disinfectants, which meant I was either at the hospital or at Recovery's girl room. I moved my head to the side as I couldn't move any part of my body, looking around, recognizing the room as Recovery Girl's. I heard the door slid open, seeing Recovery Girl in the doorway. Oh my, Midoriya, you're awake, she said with a concerned look and something else, sympathy. How are the others from the attack? Did anyone got seriously injured? Aizawa was badly injured, how is he? I shout out. He's fine and everyone is in good condition, but Midoriya, she paused. How long was I out? Was there any other attacks? I had so many questions of concern. Midoriya, listen, Midoriya, I don't know how to tell you, but I'm afraid you won't be able to do hero work anymore. You got paralyzed from neck down, I'm sorry. That shocked me, why would I come back here into a paralyzed body of mine? That's why I can't feel anything during your fight, all of your bones and muscles were completely shuttered. I healed you to my best ability with other professionals. I'm sorry, Midoriya, we made arrangement for you to be taken to a medical home for paralyzed people. She left me alone with my thoughts. What should I do now? I'm paralyzed from neck down, what should I do? Arg, I won't give up that easily, I will prove them wrong. Come on, move, you piece of shit, move. Third person. It's been a week since the USJ attack and the school was resumed. Class 1 was waiting for any news on Izuku's condition. Aizawa came in with bandages all over. Aizawa-sensei, they all shouted in unison. Teacher's job is to teach the class no matter the circumstances, and I'm not the one who you need to worry about. I'm afraid Midoriya saved me and all of you, sacrificing his body to do it. I'm afraid he won't be coming back to this class. He was diagnosed paralyzed from neck down. It's a miracle he's still alive. No one would have survived that fate. Aizawa finished and everyone fell even more depressed. The most was Momo, who was crying. But that isn't fair. We just stood there and watched him fight for us when we could have helped. This world has been cruel to him since he was born. No matter where he went, everyone looked down on him, and now he's the hero which could be looked up to, and at what cost. His body, Momo shouted out in anger and frustration. Everyone was silent but then heard footsteps outside the classroom, heavy footsteps. The door was slid open aggressively. Aizawa couldn't finish the sentence when he fell in shock, as did everyone else. The black hair with green highlight popped in the room, bright green eyes staring right at them all. Don't count me out yet. There's no way I'm leaving after the shit I was put through, Izuku shouted out while holding onto a wall for support. He was trembling in place, looking like he was about to fall. Momo stood up immediately while looking at him, and he returned the look. She was walking up to him with tears of joy flowing down her cheeks. They were face to face, Izuku looking a little down as he was taller. Momo, I love you too. As he said that, they melted into their kiss, making up for the time they lost. When they parted their long kiss, there was a long line of saliva, but they didn't care as all the class was staring at them. There was a long silence before everyone erupted in cheers and joy, coming into a group hug except Aizawa, Todoroki and Bakugo. Midoriya, I'm very thankful to you for protecting the class at the crisis moment. Thank you. Aizawa said while bowing. No need, I did this to protect my family. Izuku said. Midoriya, I am happy and all, but how in the earth have you recovered? You were analyzed as paralyzed from neck down. I actually don't know. I suppose Momo is the one to thank. I was fighting to come back to her. I said, making Momo blush and be overjoyed. Before anything, multiple of teachers barged in the class, looking around, spotting Izuku. Young Midoriya, how in the All Might, spoke out but was interrupted by Izuku. Love, All Might, love. He said while looking at Momo, which lightened up his mood. I'm so happy to see her again, but I actually don't know how I managed to walk while being paralyzed. Everything is in pain right now. It's like my body is all on fire and there's no extinguisher. My body can't operate like before. And that power I used did a number on me. It is a miracle I'm alive. Even those voices told me I'm going to die. The teachers were thanking him and apologizing for not being there. Well, All Might was hiding something he wanted to tell me. Okay class, in 2 weeks there would be a sports festival coming up. I want you to spend this time wisely and train. Midoriya, I suggest you to sit out on thigh, he interrupted Aizawa. There's no way I'm missing this. My body is in no condition like before, which will be a challenge. But I'm always up for a challenge, he said in a confident voice which made everyone surprised and shocked. Okay, then we give you these 2 weeks off for training. Class dismissed. He finished and everyone was packing up. Young Midoriya, can I speak with you in private? All Might asked, and they both went around a corner where there wasn't anyone. Young Midoriya, I saw what you did and how much you've given to protect your classmates. You were prepared, placing your life on the line to protect them. I'm sorry for doubting you before. I would like you to be my successor and take my quirk to become the next symbol of peace. All Might finished and Izuku had no expression on his face. Sigh, All Might, I reject your offer. I ain't interested in your power, and I would like to show the world my own power. There's other people around. Izuku finished and walked off back to the dorms before All Might could say another word. Who does he think he is, asking me to be his successor after all the thing he said? I can prove to everyone that I don't need a quirk to be a hero. Izuku thought. Midoriya, you're perfect to be my successor. I didn't see it before, but now there's no one as strong as you, whether it is physically or mentally. Your will and determination terrifies me, but that's what a true hero has. All Might thought. I've got to train and reach that power, but my body feels so different and not from the pain. Why is that? Chapter 8. After the talk with All Might, I was walking through the halls of UA when I noticed a mass of students blocking the way out for my class. They are here to scout out the enemy and the class that survived the villain attack. Like what you see now. Step aside, bunch of rejects, or I'll blow you to shits. Bakugo spat out with anger towards the group. Well, this ain't good. How can there be a hero with such a mouth? Are there arrogant heroes like you all around? You bunch of heroes with cool quirks aren't anything. In this upcoming sports festival we get the chance to move up into your ranks. They might replace one of you with us. I'm here with a declaration of war against Class 1A. Shinsu said in a boring and bold tone. Hey, we understand and accept your declaration of war, but no one will back out with this threat of yours. We proved that we can be in this class and prove it again. I'm looking forward in competing with you all, so give it your best. I said, drawing attention of everyone to me and hearing Kirishima saying something on the lines of. His so manly. Bakugo was flaming with rage at my response. Hey, my name's Tetsu. You're the class that survived the villain attack. You might think you're special now. Well, I'm here to tell you my declaration of war from Class 1B. Tetsu shouted out boldly. I don't think I'm special or anything, and I don't think anyone from this class thinks either. We would rather avoided that attack. Until you experience what's it like to fight a villain to the death, you won't know. In my opinion, it was quite terrifying. I nervously laughed, shocking the audience but mostly my classmates, while grabbing onto a wall to support my body, which felt like it's collapsing. What are you trying to say, Deku? You think you better than me, is that it? Well, I will pummel you down like the shit your quirkless asses, Bakugo shouted out, readying his palms. Bakugo, please, I'm not in the mood or shape to fight you right now, wait till sports festival, I said, but he kept walking up to me. Bakugo, stop, didn't you see his injuries he took to protect us? Kirishima shouted out, running in between me and Bakugo, which stopped. Growl, I will wait till the sports festival to kill your sorry ass and show that I'm better than you at your best, he spat with frustration while walking away. Thanks Kirishima, I wasn't ready for it today. No need, but you feeling okay? You're all sweaty. Yeah, just tired, hard to keep myself standing after being strapped to a bed for a week. I said, nervously laughing. I actually not sure what's up, I've got to figure this out quick. I thought to myself. We all went back to our dorms relaxing. I heard the others talking to each other happily in the common area while I tried to cook for myself. My hands were shaking, I couldn't even hold up the knife to cut properly. I was so sore and tired, but I had to get used to this quick before the sports festival. I was cooking at a slow pace, far from my normal cooking. I cut the things too big, dropping stuff and trying to lift a pan which felt like a ton. After some time I finished and it wasn't quite bad, but still, this will be troublesome. I went to the common area to sit down and eat. As soon as I sat down I released a satisfying sigh, it felt as if I dropped tons of weight off of me. I started to eat, which wasn't quite bad, but not that as good as my other dishes. Me and the others talked for a bit and it was time to go sleep. I went to my room stumbling couple of times. I opened up my door and closed it behind. As soon as I hit the deck I felt drained and shut my eyes, instantly falling asleep. I was walking on air surrounded by the abyss. I felt a surge of power all around me, but didn't see who was creating it. Izuku, we're glad to see you again, you survived your first test, we're looking forward in seeing you become stronger. The same voices that I heard before. Wait, who are you? You never told me your name and what's happening to my body. I shouted out without any response for a while. Izuku, you've got to figure that part out on your own. I woke up in my room remembering the talk in my head. Figure that part on my own, how? I asked myself while getting ready. I went to the bathroom getting ready. I took a shower and looked at my reflection. My body was filled with scars from the battle I had with the Namu, multiple gashes all over my body covering it all. That's what happens when going over my limits. I thought to myself, getting done with all the other stuff. I was about to walk out from the bathroom when I felt immense pain in my head, which made me fall to the ground grabbing it. What the buck, I was growling in pain. It subsided. What the hell was that? What's with my vision? I asked myself while my vision had kept zooming in and out like a camera. I found my way to a mirror stumbling. That is just, I was looking how my lenses were shrinking and expanding from time to time. I caught a sense of something cooking pancakes. I could literally taste them in my mouth. I heard the crackling of pancakes being cooked. What the hell is happening? Are my senses overloading? I thought while trying to control them. After some time I calmed down and was able to control them. Well, this isn't too bad, that's one thing changed about my body. I said to myself, getting dressed in my training clothes and walking out to the common area. I saw many people eating breakfast. Wait, I am the one to wake up the first. Good morning, I shouted out. Oh Midoriya, you're usually the one awake the first. Kirishima said while stuffing his mouth with pancakes. Yeah, well, not today. I said while walking to the kitchen to cook. I was cooking to the best of my ability, but my hands are not yet used to it. I finished and started to eat while sitting next to Momo. How are you feeling? She asked. Not bad, but my hands are still rusty, but that's not a problem. I said with a happy tone. I finished my food and washed my dish. Before I could go train I was stopped by Momo. Izuku, are you sure you want to train in your condition? She asked in a worried tone. Yeah, I'll be fine, don't worry, after all the things I went through a little workout won't do any harm. I said while leaning for a kiss, which she accepted, and we melted in each other's mouths. Just be careful. Yeah. I was at the gym lifting heavy weights that seemed light, but this pain was unbearable, which made me push even harder. I was now on the punching bag. I was building up sweat which dripped down my face, being absorbed by my hoodie. I stopped when I noticed my hoodie getting tighter and then loose. I took it off and saw what's up. I saw my muscles expanding and releasing, which looked weird. My body might be adjusting to my new limit. I said out loud while feeling my muscles shifting, which felt gross. I kept working out while feeling all my muscles shifting, which was troublesome. When I stopped I saw a difference. My body was more muscular, but still lean. The outline of the muscles were more distinctive. Now my clothes were hugging my body, they were too tight now. I finished my training routine, this pain was subsiding slowly, I was now walking back to my room to take a shower and get ready for my jobs, there was no one in the common area most likely training. I took a shower and glanced at my new body. Geez, I'm more ripped, I shouted out. I was a little taller, maybe as tall as Ida. Oh no, I will need to buy a new butler suit and all the other clothes. I was getting ready, putting my clothes which were tight as hell. I grabbed my wallet and started to walk down to the mall. Everyone stared at me. Do they think I'm some douche wearing tight clothes? Shit, that's bad, I screamed in my head. I brought a perfect fit butler suit and some regular clothes. I was wearing my butler suit, carrying my shopping bags full of clothes and some pair of shoes. I made it to the cafe, my colleagues were all shocked. Midoriya, how did you grow so much? It's been a week, most of them screamed. Long story short, I unlocked some secret power boost or something. I said, laughing nervously, which shocked everyone. We all started working and I saw some difference with customers' interactions, most from women. They were getting flustered, when I walked past them they all talked with their mates about me, but I just shook it off. Hello ma'am, welcome to our humble cafe, are you ready to order? I asked in a respectful tone. Oh yes I would. She cut herself off when looked at me with shock on her face. Auntie, I screamed. She jumped out of her seat, pulling me into a tight hug, all the girls around us felt jealousy. I missed you Izuku, how have you been? I'm fine, didn't Bakugo tell you me and him are in the same class at UA and the dorms? I asked her, she shook her. That bastard of a son can't share with anything. Wait, you telling me you're at UA, and since when are you so tall and buff? She said, which made me laugh. I was working hard and got in, we could catch up after my shift ends in about 15 minutes, okay? She nods and tells her order, which after I went to get other customers. After my shift ended I walked up to Mitsuki. Okay, I'm done, wanna go for a walk, I've got about an hour till my next job. I said and she nodded. We were walking around park catching up, I bought some ice cream for both of us. Auntie, I've got to go now, it was fun. Yeah, I had fun too, I made a right decision to take a break from work, okay bye Izuku. Bye, we waved a goodbye and separated. At the hard labor job my co-workers were shocked too, I looked like an adult, they said. I was invited for a drink with my co-workers and our boss, we grabbed some beers at the bar and talked about stuff. Oh Midoriya, by any chance do you have a girlfriend, cause I've got a daughter same age as you learning at UA? My boss asked me. Yeah I do, but what your daughter's name? I asked and he brightened up. Oh, her name's Momo Yaoi Rozu. As he said that I spat out my beer, coughing a little. You're okay buddy? Yeah, just fine. I stood up and bowed to him. Would you let me reintroduce myself? My name's Izuku Midoriya and I am your daughter's boyfriend. I said with confidence, shocking Mr. Yaoi Rozu. You're serious? He said rhetorically, he grabbed my hand, shaking it, pulling me into a bro hug. I'm happy my baby girl found someone like you Midoriya. He said while all the co-workers were in shock. Well, that went well. Let's celebrate, he shouts out. After we drank for a bit we bid our farewells and separated. I went back to the dorms while being a little tipsy. Geez, why did we get shots in? They were hardly standing, I guess my tolerance levels improved too. I walked through the doors, drawing attention of my whole class sitting in the common area. Midoriya, you look have you been drinking? Kirishima asked. Well, I'm maybe just a little, we were celebrating. I said in between pauses. And since when are you so tall and buff? Kirishima shouted out, gaining more attention. I'm buff, more like lean, my body was adjusting to my new limits, that's all. I said while walking to a sofa and dropping on it. Izuku, since when do you drink? Momo shouted out aggressively. Momo, please don't hurt, we were celebrating, I said while hiding my face with my hands not to get hurt. Celebrating what exactly? She was furious now, most of the boys backed out. Guys need help, so's don't leave man behind, I shouted, expecting them to help only to receive. Man, you're on your own. So? She asked. I met a guy, he was nice, I said, expecting her to get off my case. What guy exactly? He might call you. I was interrupted when a phone rang from Momo's pocket. Yes. Mum. Why is he drunk? What, you've got to be kidding me, celebrating what exactly? She dropped her phone, looking at me. Momo, it wasn't my intention, it's just sooner or later we had to, I was screaming out, so she heard me. I was backing up more into a sofa while she came closer. She hugged me and was happy. You could have said that in the beginning, thanks for meeting my father, he approves you, that's nice, so, but you still got drunk with my dad, he's getting things from mum, but you are getting things from me, she said that in a menacing tone while having killer aura. Momo walked me back to my room after she scolded me. She placed me on my bed. Okay Izuku, next time don't get too drunk. I ain't that drunk, you didn't see the others. I said smiling. Izuku, I don't know what to do with you. HHMM. You just look so handsome and cute at the same time, it's so funny and cute the way you are now. She said, holding back laughter. I know what to do, I said while getting of the bed, bringing her hips closer to me. She rested her hands around my neck and we kissed. We melted into our kiss while our tongues danced with each other. We broke the kiss once we needed air, leaving a line of saliva attached. I lifted Momo up, holding her by her legs while she grabbed me by my neck. I walked to my bed, placing her down. Lemon skipped, please read it on website. I woke up and felt something clutching onto my arm. I looked to my left, seeing sleeping Momo. I kissed her on the forehead and got out of bed and do my business in the bathroom. When I came out, I saw Momo waking up, rubbing her eyes. Good morning, sleeping beauty. Good morning. She tried to stand up, but her legs gave out and I caught her. Hey there, take it easy. After what we did yesterday, you should take it easy. Yeah, I guess I do. It was beautiful yesterday. By the way, about that, I said, being paranoid of what to say. What if she got pregnant? Don't worry, I got pills for it. I sighed in relief, which Momo laughed at. That's a relief, but I wouldn't mind having a baby with you when we're older. I said with my cheery smile, and she hugged me. I wouldn't mind. She went to the bathroom and I got my new training clothes on that I bought yesterday. Will you be okay alone? Yeah, don't worry about it, she said, and I went down to the common area with no one there. I started to cook for myself and Momo some breakfast. When I finished, I served the food on 2 plates. I was sitting at the table when I saw Momo limping towards the table. That smells wonderful. Well, I've done my best for my lady. She sat down next to me and started to eat. No long after, everyone started to show up. Good morning, guys. I greeted everyone with a wave and they returned the gesture. I finished my food and went to wash it. Momo, I'm going to train now, see ya. I waved her goodbye, but she stopped me. Wait, I stopped in my tracks and walked up to her just to receive a kiss. I want to repeat that soon. She said it into my ear with seductiveness and lust, making me blush. I nervously laughed while others looked curious as they didn't hear her. Can't wait for your big boy. I replied into her ear lustfully, making her blush now. She pushed me, indicating for me to go. Go now, don't keep me waiting, she said. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.